This broadcast is super live.
Super live.
It is live, and
Hello, everybody.
I don't know if everybody can see us yet. Let's see here. Can anyone see us?
I'm showing we're 15 seconds in.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll pick my nose, and I know everybody will see us. That's what my wife says.
I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, hey, wait a minute. You guys are here on a Monday? Yeah, we are. We're here on Monday.
Are we running live?
Yeah, we are. We're live.
Oh, okay.
We're live. Let me go check.
I did leave it up to you. You just didn't tell me which one. If do you want me to post a link?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You have a far greater reach than I.
That's funny. I only have 108 subscribers. I can't get my 109th. I was thinking of having a prize for my 110th just to see if it'll go up that far. I know you're not subscribed yet, Karen. Do it. Anyway. Oh man, were we wearing shades tonight? I'm gonna have to go up and get my shades if we're gonna do that.
This is my AfterCon shades
To hide your eyes.
To hide my red eyes from crying.
Oh, do I need to go up and get my shades?
Or snorting copious amounts of coke. Either one.
Oh, you're way past those years, I hope.
Yeah.
Either that or you'd be a lot happier. Bouncing off the walls. Hey folks, welcome to the show. I got new graphics. I got lots of new graphics. What's going on?
Is that what I need? I need coke. Okay.
No, nobody needs that much coke, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I asked my wife.
Never works.
I'll tell you guys what I asked my wife after the intro, which is coming up right freaking now.
Roll.
Good morning, Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. Good morning, Indie Volt.
That's right.
Welcome to the show.
My name is Varian Grant Coliner of Coliner. I'm the Coliner of
better that than the Death Dealer.
Yeah, I'm the Coliner of Last Call Comics for the last.
You went to the doctor today? Is that why that popped up?
Yeah, the Coliner.
I am the Coliner. That's later, buddy. You're not supposed to have one of those till you're 50.
Is it 50 now? I thought it was 40, man. I was counting down.
Oh, maybe. It all depends upon your doctor and how desperately they want to get in there.
He's got a fat ass. I want to get in. Anyway, I'm the Coliner of Last Call Comics for the last 7 years. Founder of Indie Volt. I can't say it. Indie Volt Media LLC. Started making comics back in 2008 with a self-published black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I am a father, a husband, a geek, a creator, a publisher, a reluctant taxpayer, and artist. Shamefully not in that order. And you are watching Indie Volt Live. I am joined by Randy Zimmerman. Randy, say hello to these people.
I am Randy Zimmerman. How you doing, man? This is decades of experience in working in alternative and independent comics. And I've done just about every job in the comic and direct comic market except for distribution, which I really wouldn't want to do. Last 10 years, I've been doing a newspaper that we've been circulating around Genesee County and the Flint, Michigan area. Yes, that Flint, Michigan area. And I've been moving more copies of that paper than what most of the last run of Vertigo ever sold. And gotten very few returns back. Everything we got back, we did conventions. I found myself doing conventions then just to thank people that for letting the paper exist. And then eventually it got to the point where doing the shows was helping the paper exist. So I kept doing the shows. I shut the paper down after 100 issues. We got a whole million copies floating out of Flint Comics floating out there in Genesee County and the Flint area. And we're still doing shows. In fact, I just got done with one over last weekend. So other than that, I also do the Zim Geek YouTube channel, and I teach cartooning if ever they let me, usually after school. So and do commercial and graphic arts.
That's
got a big career, done a lot of things. We're here to help.
Much more than I've done. Randy, let's jump in.
I'm still thinking I need to go get my shades, man.
Go ahead. You want to go get them?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Okay, I'll regale people with tales of
I won't be long.
Okay. So yeah, Randy's gonna go get his shades. However, yeah, I want to tell you guys what my wife told me. Well, she did her first Comic Con without me over the week, and I think that she doesn't need me at Comic Cons anymore. She did really well. She actually did the Flint show, which is Randy's show, and she did very well. So I'm very upset that my wife doesn't need me at Comic Cons anymore. First, now this is how it starts. Then she'll be drawing her own comics pretty soon. She won't need me at all. It's a damn shame. Damn shame. I'm trying to give Randy some privacy while he's gone. I don't want him to come back in and he might rip a fart or something right now. We wouldn't know it. Well, we would know it because we'd all hear it like live on open air. Just there he is. There he is. Cool. All right, Randy. So I said I was going to tell something else my wife told me this weekend, but now I can't make it. But it'll come to me. It'll come to me.
Uh-oh.
Where?
You will.
Swear. There she is. Lola says hello. Hello, Lola. Hello. So, Randy, I want to jump right into some of the questions. But first, before I do that, I want to talk about the conventions from this weekend.
Wearing the shades was a bad idea.
Can't see?
Nope.
Okay.
I got polarized shades, and there's a whole black stripe right there in front of that screen. So we're back. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. So we got you had your Flint Comic Con.
We did.
Flint Comic Fall Fest.
Yes, Flint Comic Fall. No.
Flint Fall Comic Fest.
Fall Comic Fest. Yeah, I swapped a couple words around because we stopped doing the Flint Comics paper.
Right. So Flint Fall Comic Fest. You had it this weekend. So overall, great time had by everybody. I've seen. I don't see any negative reviews online. I looked high and low. Didn't find any. Everyone loved it.
Oh,
you there?
Wow. The link that I got there off of the page was the link to your to the back door there.
Oh.
Let me try this again. Sorry, I'm just trying to lead up the link now. I'm so coordinated tonight. That's all. Let's try this. Anyway, go ahead. Don't let me hold up the show any more than I already have.
Well, there was you had your show, and everyone had a great time. Yes. And I was about an hour and a half away in Monroe, Michigan, at the Monroe Pop Fest. Held the same weekend, about what, an hour and a half apart, right?
Yeah, I think it was
about an hour and a half apart. Both in Michigan, and very they're not the largest shows in Michigan, but they have very strong followings. And
well, the Monroe show has been very established. So yeah, Gary puts on a hell of a show. From what I understand, I've never been invited there as a guest.
Oh, got it.
I understand it's a hell of a show.
We got to get Gary on here. Why hasn't Zimmerman been invited? What's going on? Yeah, and my son was actually at your show. Yes,
he was.
And Little Rascal did very well. I'm very proud of him. I'm a proud papa today. I've been sticking my chest out about it all week. Boy, did really well. But yeah.
So I hope he had a good time.
Oh yeah, and he can't stop talking about it. He's ready to get back to drawing. But he actually had some Blick coupons that was given. Is it coupons or coupons?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. I had some Dick Blick coupons, and he wants to use them immediately on new art equipment. However, I took him to we went to Target yesterday, and they had pencil sharpeners that were battery operated, $5. And I told him, I said, hey, you should get one of these because when your pencil sharp, when you won't have to take another one with you. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. I said, okay, so I'll put it in the cart. I said, you're gonna pay for it, right? No. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to. He didn't want to pay for it at all. So yeah, he put it back. Like artist, not putting his money into his dreams. Typical artist.
Not unless I have to.
Yeah. Let's see here. What do we?
I'm still trying to arrange the link
You need me to
here
send you a
on
link?
on the Facebook page. No, I'm trying to copy it right from the YouTube page, and apparently it's not doing. Nope, I'm still getting the StreamYard browser-based live studio for professionals.
Yeah, let me send it to you. Hold on.
That's weird.
I'll Facebook it to you. Sometimes,
I must be taking it from the wrong side here.
here we go. I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook, so you will have it, and you can post it. There you go. There you go. I want like my stylish shades is to hide my red eyes from crying.
From crying?
Yeah, I've been crying all day. I can't get any of my drawings right. I don't know what's going on. I was Randy has been called the. Was it Randy? Your artwork. You've been called the Liechtenstein and the.
Not me, buddy.
Yeah, Liechtenstein.
You have me confused with somebody else.
I'll wait till you finish, and then we'll go jump into these questions.
All right, I'm still having a rough time here. I don't know. I can't believe I'm having this rough of a time transferring a link. You'd think I was old or something. There it is. Much better.
All right.
All right. We're not going to be here tomorrow?
No, we won't be here tomorrow.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know you needed the day off.
Oh, who knows what'll happen? I probably will.
I probably need the day off.
It's like I want to make sure we got something up because our viewers need us. They absolutely need us. They have to be here.
Scott Rosema is on Facebook.
Yeah, I sent them a link.
Cool. All right. Done.
All right. So
D-U-N done. All right.
All right. So we're gonna jump into questions.
All right.
We're going to jump into the questions here.
Let's not hurt ourselves.
Yeah, on there. We're gonna jump head first. All right. Are you doing the reading?
I can.
All right.
Sure.
So here's our first question. This person did not leave their name, so I don't know who they are.
You guys know WTF really grinds my effing gears when I pay $30, $40 to crowdfund an effing comic only to stumble upon it being sold at a Comic Con and Artist Alley. What the F? Phil crowdfunded Custos first, you effing noobs. Yeah, that would make me mad too. And I'd be walking up there going, hey, you know, I paid your crowdfunding. I've been waiting for this in the mail, and all of a sudden it's there. What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
You know, 30, 40 is a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I told you, I was telling the wife the other day, all the stuff that I've crowdfunded, all of a sudden I'm buying more books now than I've, you know, bought in decades.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I'm invested in this and this and this and this. And holy crap, I'm buying way too many comics, man. Way too many comics. And there's still a couple more that I have to get. So, But it's all good. That's the fun of the crowdfunding, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
as long as they act right. This is the crowdfunding that to answer your guy's question or girl or your person's question, actually. Crowdfunding's a new frontier for a lot of people, and there's a lot of etiquette that a lot of people just aren't savvy to or empathic to, and they're not really considering the investor as much as just want to print their book and get it out there and seen by as many people as possible. So one guy's eagerness is another guy's lack of etiquette.
Yeah. You know, some people
that's what it is. And I'm sorry this guy didn't, you know, get his book in time. I would have asked him flat out at the show, where's my book? Because, you know, I hope you're throwing something special in there that you're not giving away here, because I feel cheated. Investing in your product. You want me to invest in your product again? I will see it before everybody else does. Thank you very much. Or at least everybody that paid into it should see it.
Yeah, when we released Retrieve, I wanted to make sure that everybody who ordered the book got theirs
Mhm.
comic the same week as the Comic Con, and that was important to me to make sure that happened. I didn't want people to find, especially because Ted had said online that it was sold out, and I knew that kind of sent chills on people who would pre-order the book through lastcallcomics.com. They were probably thinking, "Oh my God, the book's sold out, but I already paid." But their orders are already set aside, earmarked, and released.
Suddenly you're besieged by a lot of WTF messages.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we
I
got them all
understand.
out, and they were all of them reached their intended destinations perfectly.
Mhm.
No damages, which is great. So I was
Awesome.
very happy with that. But yeah, some of these guys just don't have the right etiquette. They don't know yet that it's kind of in bad taste for me to put out a book um at a con that my backers haven't got yet. So you should always fill your backers first. I agree with you. Unnamed question
Well,
asked.
that's a big problem right now with Ethan and Cyberfrog. Is
Mhm.
he had a special cover on the initial run, which is the largest run, and all the other books are done. And that silly cover that he wanted to put the extra bells and whistles on, he ran into a snag with it. So nobody gets their books until all the Chromium books go out first.
Mhm.
Live and you learn. Now he knows.
All right,
He just did a video on that today. So
here we go.
anyway, redundant. You idiots are wrong. I lost all my self-published comics, and I had in storage due to non-payment. They auctioned the entire locker off for $171. I lost $2K worth of merch. You sign a contract, and it becomes their property the minute you default on payment. Kurt Lacey, I'm sorry to hear that. Is this back to the Kraken situation?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kurt, that they moved your stuff out. I don't know why you would consider us to be wrong.
Well,
Unless our timing was off.
I don't think that he had books at Kraken. I think he had books in a storage locker somewhere.
Oh,
and he's just relating it to.
Oh yeah, you don't pay, you lose.
Yeah.
You lose everything that's in that locker because they're going to try to reimburse or get back the money that you owe them. That's
Well, if I'm playing devil's advocate here, I think Kurt is mentioning, because here's the thing. I know we had mentioned that maybe they didn't have the right legally to auction off those books, but
no, it all depends upon the contract that you sign. The thing that Kurt might be misunderstanding here is we were figuring out that the people didn't know that Kraken had overprinted those books, and we didn't know because they didn't know that those books were there. If Kraken, hey there, Scott. If Kraken had any right to actually move that product until at least they were notified and had a chance to retrieve their items. So we hope that situation's been figured out. Did you ever hear anything more on that?
Still working on it. We'll have some information by the end of the week, though.
Cool.
And you guys catch me up?
Yeah. Well, we're working on our second question. This is from Kurt Lacey, and he says, "You idiots are wrong. I lost all my self-published comics I had in storage due to non-payment. They auctioned the entire locker off for $171. I lost $2K worth of merch. You sign a contract, and it becomes their property the minute you default on payment." And again, that was from Kurt Lacey, who wrote in.
And that is absolutely how storage lockers work.
So what's he saying you're wrong about?
We had made the argument. I think the argument was made. One of us, it was either Lewis, Randy, or I, but it probably was between me and Lewis. I'm not sure whether maybe they didn't. It's Lewis. Yeah, it was probably Lewis. Made the argument that we couldn't. That they could not. The warehouse was housing the books of Kraken could not auction those books off since they had no real legal right to the books, and so this is in relation to that.
We were wondering if there was actually a legal right for them to have been stored there because the original publisher did not know that they were even in existence, that they had overprinted those books.
Yeah. It's you know what, it kind of reminds me of a particular situation I had when I was much younger. I let a gentleman fix my car, and I did not know was not fixing my car. He was actually joyriding in it.
Okay? Oh, really?
Yeah, and
shades of Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, he took my car and put a different plate on it and was driving around and left it somewhere.
Yeah.
My car was towed. My car was towed. I didn't get a message about my car until like it got to like $2,000, and they conveniently found my address and mailed me and told me, "Hey, we got your car. It's $2,000." And I'm calling this guy like, "Hey, you idiot! You've been telling me you're fixing my car. You're not fixing shit." And
they went joyriding with it, and then
he had been joyriding with my car because he told me it's gonna take me a while, but I'll get it fixed. This is a car. It was I had 2 cars, and I was I was young. I was like 22. It was my first car, and I had my second car that I was actually paying notes on.
So after they went joyriding with it, it got impounded, and they wanted you to pay for the impoundment.
The impound place wanted me to pay, yeah, but only after it got to $2,000.
Did he get a ticket when he was joyriding?
No. He just parked it somewhere and left it.
Oh,
good Lord!
Yeah, it's a genuine idiot.
And but it was like, and I remember making an argument. Look, if I known my car was there, I'd have paid first day and got it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That I don't have
the impounding yard waited until it was a $2,000 bill.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I would suggest never letting him work on your cars again.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
I would say so too.
The weird thing about that impound lot is for like 2 years later they got busted for doing the same thing to an old lady, and they were drugged through the mud on the news. It was great. I wanted to chime in like, hey, they did it to me too. So yeah, Kurt, we're sorry. We didn't mean that. I don't know what you mean. We're wrong. But we talk about the different options and the different legalities of the situation. But yeah. So I mean, but we are idiots,
and it's probably easy for you to misunderstand us because we're old guys and we like to jump tracks pretty often. So we go off on wild tangents, and you just have to do your best to try to follow us along.
That's true. And the thing is, with
us old Obi-Wans on some more damn fool crusades.
Yeah, really. And the thing is, when he talks about when you renege on a contract and they take possession, that's kind of how contracts work for the most part.
Yep.
So it's more about you being very careful about when you sign a contract and knowing full well what's involved in the contract, and then doing your part to live up to it. Now, if they end up screwing you illegally, that's another kettle of fish.
But in the case of the Kraken publishing situation, the publishers did not sign a contract. Kraken signed a contract with the warehouse. They overprinted these guys' books apparently without their knowledge, from what we've been able to gather. These books were sitting in the warehouse, and they were hoping to recoup some of the money that was owed to them from Kraken by selling those books back to the publisher, who never knew they existed in the first place.
And that's a little shady right there, a little under.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, a publisher gets a call out of the blue. Hey, we've got 2,000 of your book XYZ here, and he's like, "What?" Yeah. I got all my books that I needed from. What are you gonna? Well, if you don't come and pay us and have them shipped to you, we are just gonna auction them off, which means there's another 2,000 copies of your book out of your control.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So what do? It's like blackmail. You have to pay this warehouse in order to get books that you never knew existed or wanted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, in order to keep your stuff under control. So,
and that's not the fault of the contract.
No, it's not.
The people behind it. So
it's the fault of Kraken for overprinting in the first place, or not chewing or destroying. If it was cheaper for them to overprint, they should have.
Which now let me pose a question for the three of us to chew on and then spit out. Is that, do you think that, do you think that there is a very large percentage of people that get involved in contractual situations and simply just can't face the music that they made a mistake, and so they start blaming other elements?
Absolutely. It's called a marriage.
That's very good. That's good, Varian. Yeah. Where are you sleeping at night?
Yeah. Lowell is listening in. So I think that every situation is different. There are sleazy and scummy people out there who sign contracts that have no intention of fulfilling them. Some that sign them that have every intention of fulfilling them and just can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hello, Dave the Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
He says hello, guys.
How you doing, Dave? Yeah, I mean, all right, guys. Let's see. You want a deep question or a funny question next?
How about a funny, deep question?
Let's go. There's so much potential.
Let's go deep.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, an after 10 o'clock question. Is it a relationship question?
No.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't wear my collar to the camera today. So.
Deep sixes, Varian. Go ahead.
All right. And I'm gonna and you know what? I'm gonna shut up on this one because you guys have both worked in, very close to the mainstream.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shut my mouth on this one.
All right.
And there it is. Randy, go ahead.
The mainstream isn't doing as bad. Winston P. writes in, the mainstream isn't doing as bad as you all claim. If it were, they would have long since corrected the problem. Oh, boy.
Wow.
And just because you no longer identify and or enjoy a series doesn't mean it's bad. Effing mooncalves. What do calves from, is it moon calves? What do cows on the moon have to do with this last problem? Winston P, thanks for writing in.
A moon calf is a foolish person. I had to look it up. Do you guys?
Is this like milkshake? No.
No.
It has nothing to do with like milkshake. No. Moon calf.
Yeah. A moon calf is a foolish person, and I don't appreciate being called one. Winston P.
There are worse things that you could be called, Varian.
And I have recorded proof of being called far worse.
I'm sure I have been too.
So I'm totally
sometimes even in front of and to my face.
Yeah, I'll add that to my roster of bad names.
Keep that question up, buddy. Let's go.
One second. I want you guys to see what a moon calf looks like.
Well, that's cute.
It looks like somebody after a bender. A little too much LSD.
This must have been done in the 70s because he's got all the good drugs.
Oh yeah,
you can see it in
look at that dilation. Boy, that is
you
awesome.
guys have
back in my day, son, we had the good drugs. Anyway,
I don't
know what he means by it's not doing as bad. I mean, you'll look at the.
No, I really enjoy perspective. As an artist, you need to know perspective.
True.
And you need to appreciate perspective.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And it's like seeing that elephant, the blind man, the three different blind men who see the elephant from three different directions.
That's right.
And we've lived long enough to be able to step back and sit in the bleachers and point and laugh.
That's true.
That's what's happened. And this guy here still has his dark shades on, and he's feeling a trunk, and he's like going, "Oh, that ain't that bad." Or there's feeling the ear and going, that it's not that bad. Or he's feeling the tail and going, there's still some brushes here. It's not that bad. But he's really close up on that elephant. And we're back here pointing and laughing at how much the elephant is shrinking.
But we have had the experience of having our hand up the elephant's ass, and we know exactly how.
or in some cases, we have had the elephant's hand up our. rather.
Well, the thing is, his perspective is such that the perspective is about maybe 8 inches. The
mainstream isn't doing as bad as you claim. Yeah, that's why whenever you walk into a comic shop, you see all these empty tables for Magic. Or you walk into a comic shop and you see this incredibly huge shelf of Funko Pops because the mainstream isn't as bad as it seems to be.
Look at the publishing numbers of even some of the biggest titles. It hardly even cracks 100,000.
What is it? Comichron.com? Is that right, Varian?
Yep.
He needs to start watching Comichron.com and taking a really good look at where the market is heading. The market still has a little ways to go. It's circling the drain, but in my opinion, it's been circling the drain ever since the direct market was formed and Diamond became the monopoly distributor.
Yeah, and the thing is that even as, say, for instance, if somebody wants to say it's not circling the drain, they still can't claim it's doing wonderfully healthy because you go to a comic shop and when you do have the tables in the back filled with gamers, there are far more of those guys than there are plunking down money every week to buy comics.
Well, that and they're buying magic cards. They're helping that retailer to stay afloat.
Oh, yeah.
They're buying magic cards. They're buying sets and oh, pardon me. I just had some pineapple. I guess it's coming back on me. I'm sorry, but they just had they're too busy buying their gaming supplies than to actually buy what the retail shop is there for, and that's comics. If you look at the actual sales of comics, even though it's just from the publisher to the retailer, those numbers have gone down. And you know for sure that the numbers from the retailer to the actual consumer has gone down even more.
Yeah. Now
just look at what's in the dollar boxes. Look at what's look at what your local retailer is willing to blow out for next to nothing, and then ask yourself if he's doing okay.
And if and most retailers don't have that huge of a selection. They have maybe the 2 or 3 mainstreams. And maybe a handful of independents or smaller publishers.
Oh, if you're lucky, if that would be a good store.
Yeah, that would be. It really would be. And the thing is,
and probably an almost stable store.
Yeah,
but
they don't dare carry those smaller titles because they sell almost nothing of those. They can barely keep the great sales going on the mainstream titles: Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman. I mean,
Do us a big favor, Winston P., and start visiting your local retailer every Thursday, and or Wednesday. Well, Wednesday's probably unfair, but visit your retailer every Thursday and ask him how he's doing.
Yeah. Now let me address,
how you doing this week?
His second question, second sentence. If it were, they would have long since corrected the problem. Wow, are you kidding me? If everybody knew how to correct the problems, we wouldn't have any. And there are problems in the industry.
And again, this is a perspective thing. It's somebody that hasn't looked at the market or realized how the market is actually working, because the problems aren't perceived as problems to some of these people that are high up in those offices. They think that it's important. They think it's important to do propaganda work. They think it's important to do and push the IP properties over top of story. That's the actual retailer is in the trenches. The guys producing the comics are really selling to the retailer, hoping that the retailer can turn around and sell to the customer before they go out of business.
Yeah. And now this is not and has never been, certainly on my half, and I think I can speak for you too, Randy, is just because you no longer identify or enjoy a series. It's not about my not enjoying series or identify with the storylines. I'm all for new story, new directions, new takes. If they're interesting and good quality, I'm all for it. I love it. But this isn't about our view of something because we don't enjoy the books these days.
And our point is proven from a statement to the press last week that CB Cebulski said, where there's no problem in comics.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
And he said that flat out. And we'll see how long CB keeps his job.
I can appreciate somebody wanting to take a positive view of the company he works for, but you can't be that blind. You cannot. You cannot have that blind of an attitude.
See, and again, it's a perspective thing, because Marvel right now can take an awesome, optimistic view of the market because they just trounce DC on their sales because DC cut back so far, and their percentage wise of how much product they move to the market overall, they have a dominant number now. I mean, a way dominant number. That pie looks really blue when you go to look at it. It looks real Marvel. But that doesn't mean that the market is healthy, and it really doesn't mean that Marvel is healthy.
No.
It just means that last month, Marvel moved more product to the retailer than DC did.
Yeah. So. And now, if he means mainstream companies, that might be a different argument. But if he's talking about the mainstream comic book industry, because the comic book industries now, especially in Marvel's case, they are occupying the farthest down rung of the ladder. Marvel Cinematic Universe is way at the top, and
that's what matters to Disney right now is how much money the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes as opposed to the Marvel Publishing House. They really don't care what they're doing, which is obvious. All you have to do is look at their product, and you know that they don't care what they're doing. Yeah, and look at the numbers. I mean, don't just look at the product. Look at how many of each product, these books are actually moving. Marvel's moving a lot of product, but that's because they doubled their output.
Yeah, exactly. The Disney as
you compare that to per issue numbers 10 years ago, I think you'll be surprised.
Oh, very. And Disney as a company is kind of like the field of a farmer who grows crops. Marvel is kind of like the undersoil that everything gets planted in and grows from. And you make the most money by harvesting the crops and bringing it all to market and everything. And because you have far less soil and value than you do the crops that you grow out of it. And Marvel Comics themselves, the IP, the property, is where that's what they're drawing from. And they're just keeping it healthy enough to just keep it there as this planting bed, as this foundation to grow more saleable, IP out of it.
Well, right now, Marvel and DC are so desperate to stay alive. They're literally practicing two different publishing philosophies. DC is trying to concentrate on quality over quantity, and Marvel is trying to concentrate on quantity over quality.
Oh yeah,
and that's why you're seeing the numbers that you're seeing, and you'll see how it works out. But the main reason for that is because Marvel, ever since the direct market started, Marvel has had no appreciation for the direct market or the retailers ever. In fact, they've gone out of their way a number of times to try to get away from them, and they just can't, because the retailers are still making them money, no matter, even though it's just a little money. Now they just dismiss it as a majority of the retailers being male misogynists.
I want to play something for you guys.
They're not making those comics for them.
I want to play something for you guys and for Winston P. Randy, you heard a little bit of this earlier. This actually, no, you didn't. This is a different part. But this is from a book called Slugfest. Sadly, it's not Scott Rosema narrating, but
all right,
I'm going to play it for you.
All right.
Launches of the new titles sold in huge numbers and reportedly brought many lapsed readers back into comic book stores. The early months of the relaunch allowed DC its first win in a long time in terms of direct market share. DC edged Marvel by 5% in September 2011. That lead swelled to 20% the following month. Marvel, on top for so long, remained unfazed, at least publicly. Joe Quesada, who'd by then been promoted to chief creative officer, claimed the DC relaunch was a response to everything Marvel's been doing. "You don't set fire to your entire house for no good reason," he said. Marvel's senior vice president of publishing, Tom Brevoort, also took a poke at his rival's new direction in an online forum. He advised DC to stop trying to be a bad Marvel clone because they're not even getting bad Marvel right. DC quickly fired back. John Rood, the company's sales chief, posted a statement on DC's website in August 2011, praising the New 52 and castigating Marvel for its aggressive business practices and reliance on publishing gimmicks, including a February 2011 statement by one Marvel executive that the company planned to kill off a character every quarter to fuel sales. To be clear, DC is not a market share chaser, Rood wrote. "If we were, we would not be creating a quality, lasting direction across a controlled number of titles. We would instead be flooding the market with over 200 titles a month, changing your prices with abandon, killing off a character every quarter or so, and or randomly announcing decimal-pointed eventish thingies. We haven't." Marvel soon announced a soft relaunch of its own revamp called Marvel Now. A mysterious house ad promoting the endeavor showed 52 red slashes on a black background, which appeared to be some sort of cheap slap at DC's New 52.
Now,
who said this?
That was from Slugfest, a book about the Marvel versus DC war. It's actually
it's an audio. Is it an audio book of it?
Yeah,
it's an audio book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm not going to read the full book. No,
and hopefully you won't get a copyright strike for that.
No, I won't.
And who's the author who's reading it?
Sean Howe is reading it, I believe.
Sean Howe, I know the name.
I'm sorry, that's not Sean. That's Reed Tucker.
Yeah,
Reed Tucker. Yeah.
Sean Howe was a writer on The Untold History of Marvel Comics.
Yeah, that's Reed Tucker.
Right. That's what I remember that from.
Yeah. All right, so I got another question for you guys. Oh, you finished with this one?
Sure. Go ahead.
Right.
Wait a minute. Wait. Mainstream isn't doing that bad as you all claim. If it were, it's long since corrected by the one last thing that I want to point out. is that the mainstream, especially Marvel and DC, are incredibly large ship. Anytime they plan on a product launch, it takes them a year to a year and a half to actually get that into the retailer's hands. That, especially considering with distribution alone, it takes you 3 months from your announcement to getting it to the retailer. The announcement and asking for amounts from the retailer of what they want, it takes them 3 months to get that into the retailer hand. So anything that they try to do to fix the market is always done a year to a year and a half before you actually, a good year before you actually see it, a year and a half before you actually see it done.
Right.
So it's a tremendously huge ship. It's like the Titanic, and they've been scraping that iceberg for a long time.
And in a market where your product sells every week, and you're constantly behind. You're constantly acting in hindsight because you're as you've been planning this supposed corrections, the market keeps going. You keep selling books, you keep shipping them out, and in a year's time, a lot can happen to the market as you're trying to correct a problem that you perceived a year ago.
Yes.
So it's a terribly, terribly complex system to try and inject any kind of real.
Well, it's an overly complex system, and it's one that they've mucked up for many years.
Oh yeah, there has been way too much editorializing.
But yeah, look at the figures, get to know your market a little better, Winston. P, if you are a contributing factor into comics at all, you should really get to know the market that you're in. And it isn't as cherry as you think it is.
I would love to have him come back after he maybe does some substantial research and see what he says then.
Here we go.
Well, you don't think so, Randy? Or
what is that? What is that old saying? I don't have to understand shit. But thank you for sending the message in, Winston.
Yeah,
it's appreciated. Q Harris writes, "Sweet Horish, mother of Christ, those bombers on bumbers on Lola are God's truth. What a lucky F you are, Kid V. Lola, do you have a sister with double lattes like yours?
Oh my
what
God.
I wouldn't give to look up from reading some shitty comics at those Smothers Brothers."
Barry, and you put that question up?
Yeah, I figured out.
Is Q
pouch bound, my friend?
Is Q Harris real?
Yeah. Unfortunately,
just want to ask.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one came in. I told her I was going to put it up. Said,
I did have a buddy get a hold of me within the last week who gave me the third degree about who the new girl was on the show, and he sincerely hopes that she comes back on a very regular basis. So
yeah, it was
ratings, hey.
we call him Black Belt Perez. And he was in the Owasso Taco House Funnies.
Was that the funny question?
Yeah, that was a funny question.
That was the funny question. Do we really need to answer that? Probably not.
I think they speak for themselves, if you know what I mean.
In more ways than one.
and she says, "Laugh my ass off. Wow, and no, I do not have a sister." She says, "I'll be on Thursday morning." So yeah, it's
Was that from Lola?
Yeah. I was from Lola. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was I thought that you guys would like that one. That one, in my opinion, is very funny.
Not that I noticed, but still.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a couple more questions. Randy, I hope
Sure.
you can get through this one without laughing. I don't know if you will though.
I doubt it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Go ahead, Randy.
Are you guys hoping that Sugar Daddy Ethan will throw you some of that CG bone and let you in his boys club? A lot of CG love for an indie comics news outlet. Get the F
Out of here.
out of here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roderick Young. Sorry, Roderick. I'm sorry that you feel that way. No, we're not looking. I don't consider Ethan to be any kind of sugar daddy. Can I answer this, or should we, or did you want to take a whack at this?
Um,
Varian? I can keep going.
I
The reason you hear us talk a lot about Ethan and CG isn't because we have some deep love for him or his product. We haven't seen his product, obviously. He just went to the fulfillment center today to actually start signing copies so that they can mail the damn things out. But I am in no way enamored by Ethan himself. I am enamored by his effect upon the market. And that's what I think is important. Anytime somebody is able to go out and clear 800 grand on a comic, I think that deserves to be studied and learned from. I hope you feel, Roderick, I don't know how in the business you are, but if you don't see any kind of value in that, then, good luck working for Valiant or for some lowercase publisher out there who might not be around in 3 to 4 years.
Mhm.
If you're not studying the market and figuring out how the crowdfunding goes and admiring the efforts of some of these guys, and you're in the independent market and you want to do your own work, well, then you're going to have to find your own way. And good luck for that.
Yeah. And I want to jump on a piggyback.
I just got done looking at doing my own newspaper for a decade, and I'm back in looking at this and watching a lot of YouTube because I'm really curious about how these guys are actually making bank.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say that, IndieVolt covers everything. If you look on our indievolt.com, you will see that we cover damn near everything. We've
even had Hart Fisher on. So.
Yeah, we've had Hart Fisher on.
He hasn't printed a book in a while. We have Lewis on. He hasn't printed a book in quite a while.
Yeah.
Hell, you let me in. How much?
There you go. There's the evidence right there.
My God.
My God.
What more proof do you need? They're not looking to gain any kind of favor.
We've asked Rosamund to come in. Yeah. Lord knows we've all burned our share of bridges, but as far as wanting to be let into his boys club, no. But it's fascinating what he's done, and I like I am more enamored by the business model that I think might be a way to actually make a little money in this business. That's all.
Yeah, and let me add a slightly different angle to that same coin is that if the thing is Ethan has obtained a certain level of success and vitality in the marketplace with his property and with his projects, and frankly, that's the kind of person we're interested in finding out how they did it. We're not just going to cover somebody that we think we can't get anything out of. That's ridiculous.
Somebody who ends up doing a horribly unproductive campaign, unless we can learn from it.
Yeah.
Right. And
that's the whole idea of covering any of this or giving them any kind of love.
And Ethan has obviously carved a particularly vital path for himself out in the marketplace, and there is a lot to be learned from him. I mean, that's saying somebody
also at the same time, he has made his big share of mistakes in the delays and stuff, and he completely recognizes that as well. And it's something everybody can learn from. Zach's made mistakes. I'm sure somewhere down the line to Naples made mistakes here and there too.
Yeah, and Ethan is one of the very latest, most current types of creators that have gone this route and been very good at it. And that's what I want to learn as much as I can from that example. But that's, saying we want to train into his club or on his good side. That's like saying somebody reviews a movie with a good tone because they're hoping to get free tickets. I mean, that's not how we're doing this. We love talking about comics. We love talking about the industry. And the thing is, we're hoping that we can put together at least a spattering of good viewpoints and takes on things in order to help kind of up the awareness quotient and the intelligence quotient.
If there was a non-CG person out there that was generating some huge amount off of a crowdfunding campaign, believe me, we would be looking at it, and we do. We talk about Brian Pulido all the time in Coffin Comics. He has a business model that everybody needs to look at and figure out how they can follow it or benefit from it.
If this podcast was happening during, say, the heyday of Cerebus and Dave Sim, we'd be all over him because he had a.
We wouldn't be all over. We wouldn't be all over Sim, but
Oh no, you
but
wouldn't.
we would definitely be looking at his productivity and how he was able to kick out 300 issues in a row.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no,
And that
I knew what you meant. I was just giving you a hard time.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Ooh,
But yeah, there are exactly.
you poked my rib too hard.
There are a lot of people out there doing a lot of things right now. In my opinion, the even the crowdfunding campaign might be getting too overcrowded. So it's going to be very interesting to take a look the next few months of what kind of numbers these guys take down in their future campaigns. Right now, they seem to be growing. That might not necessarily hold true unless they can go outside of the market and pull people in. One of the things that Ethan has done through through his site is that he's talked about a lot more than just comics. He really got onto the anti-Star Wars bandwagon, especially once Last Jedi came out, and the majority of his numbers have come in from what they call the fandom menace of people who don't like where Disney is currently taking the current run of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, and the Star Wars fandom is very, very vocal too.
Yeah.
So we're doing nothing that's reinventing the wheel here.
No, but we are talking about it. We want to look at that wheel and see how it spins.
Yeah, exactly. And
Did you get
Sorry, I lost. I
would
got attacked by some moon calf, didn't you?
Yeah.
you're Marion.
You know what? That has to be that moon calf has to be the new. Randy, I need you to draw a moon calf. Has to be the new mascot of Indy. We have a little moon calf just walk across.
We make it a cute girl like the old Daisy cow. In Disney, call her Mindy Mooncalf or something.
Oh yeah, with the rubber tube legs and Varian
holding her dress as she dances by.
Yeah, exactly. Varian, what are you doing wearing sunglasses? Did Lola give you a shiner there while we're off air?
No, it's after the con effect. I was going to wear mine too, but they're polarized, and my screen goes wonky when I look at it.
Oh, here's Ralph Griffith.
Yeah.
Ralph, will the cream still rise? He obviously he doesn't know what milkshake means. Will the cream still rise, or will is never get seen?
Or will it? I guess it will never.
Or
get
will
seen?
it never get seen? I don't know. I really don't know. There's a lot of good products out there right now that aren't pulling down decent.
Well, I think
that aren't pulling down decent crowdfunding.
Yeah, and that's mainly because it is so much more. I mean, the opportunities out there now for self-publishing have never been better. I mean, you can self-publish a book for literally pennies. And so you've got a lot of people that just don't want to go through the trouble of trying to find a bigger publisher than themselves or their friends to get it out there.
Or to actually go out there and be the entrepreneur and figure out a way to do it. There needs to be other trailblazers like Ethan out there doing, telling people how to get stuff. Well, take a good look at Samedi. We talk about Samedi a lot with Alterna Publishing. He's currently trailblazing and he's doing all sorts of stuff. I'm more enamored by Samedi than I am by Ethan.
And he's and Samedi's doing a heck of a job as he's really starting to establish himself as a publisher for other books.
Yeah.
Just had
and it's not just that. He's got a printing program that you can piggyback on his publishing run with, where you can get color comics printed for like 50 cents a unit.
Yeah, exactly.
And full color 32-page books. And now he announced a couple of weeks ago he's going to be his own distributor. So he's going to start Alterna Distributing that he hopes to have running full bore by the middle of next year.
Right. And with those kind of opportunities in place, you can you can get just a little bit of cash together. And if you can get, just even a few thousand people buying your books, you can make a fairly decent living month to month.
All you need, the numbers are the numbers in the direct market are shrinking. But if you cut out a few steps on that middleman, it's not going to matter. You're still going to be able to make a living moving some decent product. It seems like instead of shelf space, it's social media presence. And a lot of that is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
How well you're seen by the media. The big thing with Ethan and how he's been able to pull down a lot of numbers is he's pulled in a lot of people that stopped reading comics. I stopped reading, and you see that a lot. Or at least I did on his chats. I stopped reading comics 5 years ago. I stopped reading comics 10 years ago, or I got out of comics because I hated the way they were being written or drawn or they looked or whatever. Or the silly decompressed storytelling where it takes 6 issues to try to tell a story or whatever. And I'm glad and happy to see there's people out there who actually want to do product kind of aimed at what I want to read.
Yeah, and Ralph's right. I mean, social media is kind of taking the place of common shelf space. Now, I have got a little tidbit I really want to share with you guys, and this goes right into this topic. Now, the last time I actually got to talk to Gary Reed for any length of time, it was up at Traverse City at the Cherry Capital Con, and he had his table set up, and he was doing his usual thing there.
Yeah.
And I was a little slow on the show for a little bit, so I went over and was talking to him and asked him how it's going with these sales, because he had a lot of product out on the table. And he said to me, he said, well, Scott, the thing is, you don't see a lot of my stuff on the shelves per se. And that's what I was wondering is how are your sales going? Because I don't see this stuff except at your table. And he said, that's because I decided I'm more interested in selling than I am making a name for myself. And I said, really? Can you expand on that? And he said, well, there are a lot of people that are just hankering and hungering for getting their name and their book into Diamond's catalog as an ego boost, as opposed to trying to sell the work. And that explained to me a lot of where Gary's direction was. I mean, he was interested in publishing and selling, not boosting his ego. Right. And that explains a lot of the vitality that Caliber still had, and I hope they still have now that he's gone. But that's exactly what is going on with a lot of creators. They're not so hot to get into Diamond's catalog anymore. And what's Ralph say here?
Getting smaller press, working more hand in hand seems to be the way to go for now. Yeah. Well, having your own social presence gives you more of a one-on-one, and it makes you a lot more transparent depending upon how much you want to share with your audience. What kind of a entertainer that you are definitely reflects back onto your book. Yeah. And that going back to Ethan again as an example, he's had a year and a half, 2 years maybe to actually work out a shtick to the point where he's almost a trained radio personality. I don't know why I'm blinking there, but
well, and that's true. There are so many. I mean, with social media, your connection to people is just almost endless because you find, now you could never find these people that can be huge fans of what you focus on. Yep. Without social media there in place. So you could get 2,000-3,000 people that are, say, into purple tutus on their female character, and they'll just eat your stuff up with a spoon, for an amazing amount of time.
You never know.
You can build that audience with your material, and matter of fact, not only do you not have to go into Diamond, it's probably better if you don't. Because these people you're only going to find them through the intimacy of the social media contacts you can build. And Ethan's obviously, figured that out a long time ago.
Yeah, he's actually gotten to the point where he's questioning whether or not conventions are worthwhile for him.
Interesting.
For him.
I don't know if you both can see it, Scott. And
what's that?
I got some breaking news I put into the private chat as far as cons go.
Don't you guys?
In the private chat.
Yeah, he's been that way for a while, man.
Has it?
Yeah, I heard that about a good, I think, 4 to 6 months ago.
Okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, Marty, fantastic. We're talking. Can we say this out loud?
No, you don't want to say that out loud.
Okay. I didn't. Wow.
Yeah.
That just happened?
I just got word of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Will that change anything?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, though.
I got one of the shows this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. Lola, as a matter of fact, Lola said hi at the show as we were just packing up.
Yeah.
So then we'll expect a full report next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get your news shoes on and let us know what you find out, Marion.
Now there were some questions that got sent in, and I was waiting for Mr. Brett Raven to get here, but he's not going to get here in time. I don't think. He said 9:30, but I'm going to put these questions up now because I want to work my way through them.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
you don't have to put him on.
Let's see. Here we go. All right. We got crap, where is it at? Okay. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. It's out of control. Well, did you guys see that I crashed? I left the chat for a second.
Yeah.
Well, it was because like my whole computer went able, like it went ape shit. I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing, and it froze on me, and then it went down, and I had to close out all the browsers. Well,
it was that evil mooncalf virus.
Yeah. I have
Damn mooncalves. Mooncalves.
Damn you, mooncalves! You're the bane of my existence.
This is a little hobbling moon calf just pops by.
The moon calf's going to be drinking a milkshake, which will animate her bouncing through. It'll be hilarious.
Milkshake.
All my tabs closed out, every single tab, so I had to go back and reopen them. But
before or after you mentioned CG, because there seems to be such an anti-CG movement running around. Maybe
it may have been, man. Get them off of here.
Conspiracy theory? No, not me.
All right. So one question. So here was a rank question.
Oh, Jason Moore is on. Hang on. Great. Give me just a second here.
Sure.
I got to go over and read this.
Can I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who is
go
most accomplished out of you four? My guess: Scott, Lewis, Zim, or Variant, Donovan R.
First of all, my name is.
You're guessing.
My name is Varian with no T.
Variant is his second cousin that takes his place.
That son of a bitch has warrants on me.
Oh, he's.
What does he mean by accomplished?
I don't know if I should mention this. Jason just gave me a message. Jason, is it all right to talk about this on the air? If not, then I'll be quiet. Just let me know in the chat.
Is Jason in the chat? Or he probably is.
Not in the chat, but in the PM to me.
Okay.
He's listening. Jason's listening right now.
Right.
Is he in the chat?
I'm not sure. I don't see him. I can't see everybody in the chat actually, but he hasn't said anything.
So. I'll wait until he writes back. But what was that? What was the question? Who is the most accomplished
out of you four? My guess: Scott, Lewis, Zim, Varian, Donovan R. I think he has to qualify that. What does he mean by accomplished?
It all depends on which cover Variant is. Thanks for writing in, Donovan R. Appreciate that. And that's two M's. That's so right there at the bottom there. It should be ZIMM. Again, I didn't spell it this time. It's okay.
Yeah. And maybe he means Invader Zim.
Could be.
Well, the thing is, if
we're just picking on you, Donovan. Don't get mad, please.
If you want to talk about somebody who has done publishing, well, obviously Randy's at the top of the list.
You need to ask what does accomplished mean? Who makes the most money?
If he means
we haven't compared who's
Yeah, I mean, if he means putting out a podcast, then Varian's at the top of it.
Yeah, we need
Varian's the most experienced.
We need qualifiers, right?
Yeah. What do you consider accomplished? Shall we measure and see who's got what in what bank account or what?
Oh, I lost.
I'm not. If he wants to talk about being published by the big mainstream companies, I guess I might head the list. But
I got that close once.
I don't know.
I
got awfully close. Ralph
I printed 1 million copies of Flint Comics. The vast majority of which people picked up and read.
And I haven't even come even a fraction close to that with publishing my own stuff. Not even.
I printed a cover of yours.
Yeah.
I have no idea about anything. I heard Varian mention some. So I was wondering, there was something new going on with them other than no, Jason, that was the news. How's that for short?
Yeah.
What you were thinking there was new news. There is no new news. That's the same news. It's the old news.
Yeah.
Getting smaller press, working more hand in hand seems to be we already answered that.
Yeah.
Way to go for now. But who's the most accomplished?
Wait a second. Go back to Ralph's previous question, Varian.
Okay.
Getting smaller press, working more hand in hand seems to be the way to go for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what was the next one? How much does image presentation and comic awareness comes into play on the net publishing? Ooh.
How much does image presentation It all depends on what you're out to do when you're net publishing. If you're crowdfunding, you really want to be seen, so you better be known. You better have some sort of a social presence in order to beat your minimum.
Oh yeah.
Or else you're not going to have a successful campaign.
Yeah, and the image you present, your presentation, that is very important. Also, once you get your platform out there, yeah, I mean you've got to have a really appealing image. You've got to be good at the presentation so people can latch on to what you're talking about, what you're going for.
And like I said before, right now crowdfunding, in as far as comics is concerned, it's kind of like the Wild West. Everybody's still feeling their way to see, if I do this, can I get that? If I do that, can I get this? If I'm like this, can I do that? There's been very serious discussions the last 6 months of how religious your books can be in order to make money. Do you want to stay completely neutral or not? What of yourself do you want to get out there in your social presence, or what kind of drama do you want to cause, or what kind of causes do you want to do? How transparent do you want to be on your social presence? And in order to attract people, everybody's still learning.
Yeah,
we do so much talking about this stuff.
Yeah, that third part Ralph's referring to, I'm not sure comic awareness is the thing as it is marketplace awareness.
Yeah.
Because knowing if he means awareness of the comics that are out there, yes, but also just as important, if not more so, is awareness of the marketplace where those comics are happening. That, yeah, I would say again, that's a very important part. I think those are very salient questions, points that Ralph's making, and they're all very important. But yeah, I echo what you said, Randy.
Jason Moore tells me, gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty public info these days about that con and the person that left. I don't think the details of the split are too common knowledge. And one of the people have deleted a lot of the initial posts that started the split. He got pretty detailed as to what happened, but deleted all those posts a few days after posting. So,
yeah.
I didn't think that was new news, but
very no one tells me anything.
Well, I know. Jason
it took us doing this podcast for Varian to know who Wally Wood is. So,
oh God,
I'm not ever going to let you forget that.
Oh my God.
Same with Mike Grill.
Same with Mike. Yeah, we just had that discussion today. Who's Mike Grill?
Yeah.
Varian, we got to take you around the block a little more.
Yeah. Says Ralph says, there's been a lot of fun down here in comic promoter Jerry Springer, and a lot of D swinging going on.
Yeah,
well, let us speak out.
That's always been like that, though, in the D area. There's a lot of D swinging in the D. Always has been.
Okay, I'm in the dark. What's code for D swinging?
Swinging from one's penis.
Yeah.
I see.
There's been a lot of size comparison going on down in Detroit. There's always been convention people coming and going and, bumping heads. And yeah, I try to stay away from that, except that, like this last weekend, I bumped my date up against Monroe and didn't really mean to, but that's the way it was. And it was too late to change it. So,
well, I know
I had to deal.
I know Jason just got
back. Do it again.
I would like to know how Monroe went, if Jason's still on board here.
Jason, you really need to get yourself a video camera and a microphone and be part of this discussion.
Oh yeah, he's a pretty sharp cookie. He crumbles.
So how would you assemble that? Not to change the subject, but to change the subject. Varian, how would you assemble that list about accomplished?
I don't know. I mean, listen. I statistically wasn't supposed to make it past 25, so I feel that I'm the most accomplished as a black male. I'm supposed to make it past 25 years old. I'm sitting here 37 as an accomplishment. Woo! No prison. Oh my God!
We're talking
arrest record.
We're talking living past the stats, right?
That's right. I lived past the stats. They said I wasn't going to be here. Here I am.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, but no, in terms of accomplishments, I put myself at the bottom of the list. I am the least accomplished. I put out a lot of books. I just put out.
I would question that.
I don't know if this. I got none of the qualifiers now. In terms of piggy banks, I'm gonna say it's Scott Roseman. He's getting those fat $500,000 royalty checks from Marvel.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the same thing, but you're right. That's why I've got green cinder blocks at Waterloo Studio. Those are all cash.
I got them too. You just can't see past the sheet that I have tacked up here.
That fat belly you see in mine, that's a money belt. That's not fat.
Buddy, that's a well-earned artist hump. Come on.
Hump. I
That's
like
accomplished. You've been working on that for decades.
That's right. It doesn't just happen. You got to work. You got to avoid all the salads. You got to keep the grease going. I mean, it's not everybody can do that.
Right.
And when I go to Flint, Randy makes damn sure we love our greasy spoons.
That's the only time we really turn into foodies, though, especially lately. We've been really trying to watch our stuff. So
That's true.
my doctor,
what do you got?
my doctor was very happy with me at my last checkup.
I just, if you want to screenshot anything, everybody, here's a black male with a coonskin cap on, holding a styrofoam container of chicken.
Oh, chicken. Oh.
Chicken.
Live in the
It says,
cliche.
what?
Good for you. Live in the cliche.
Need to really school up Varian on the history of comics. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. He's coming.
Varian, have you ever heard Dave Chappelle's little skit on chicken?
Yeah, I have. It's
God,
me and the bird are finding one another. It's
he's awesome.
Jason says Monroe was a really, really great show. Yeah, it was, and I was there. I was happy.
And Flint was just a really great show.
Yeah. It was. My son was there, and I mentioned this earlier, but the boy was very happy. He came home, and he walks to me. He says, "Dad, he couldn't wrap his head around. He said, hey, I made $60."
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
I said, oh, that's awesome, man. And of course, the next day he wanted to go spend all of it, right? But I'm like, you should save some money. And but he kept saying that he made 55, and I'm like, well, I thought you made 60. Well, yeah, but I spent 5. But you made 60. Well, yeah, but I spent 5. So I had.
You gotta understand basic math.
Yeah, and I'm like,
profit margin is not the same as net profit.
Yeah. He's very happy, and he can't wait to get back to the show. He thinks you should go back next week, and I'm like, what? There's no show next week, but
No show.
How did he make the money?
Commissions.
Selling drawings? Yeah, he sold drawings.
What was he charging per commission? How many drawings did he do?
I'm not sure how many he did. Lola would know better than me, but I think he was. They were anywhere from between $5 and $10. He had some previously. He had some drawings that he did before sitting out on the table, and they were like $5 or something like that.
They were incredibly stylized drawings, by the way, that were almost like Funko Pop.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for him.
Chibis. They were very cute and very accessible.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah. That's why he sold so many. People liked him.
yeah. I was.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I've been proud all day. My chest has been poked out. Actually, my chest is actually further out than my stomach.
Tell him he didn't spend that $5 at my table. Damn.
Tell him at the last signing, Lewis only made $5 more than he did.
Yeah, so I'll tell him. I'll let him know.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment right there.
Yeah, and then the actual. Let's see here where we at. And then, here's the other thing too, guys. And I'll ask you both this because it's only the one question that
How many conventions have we done in a year?
that's actually
Oh my God.
it's actually one of the questions. That's actually here we go. Yeah.
Oh, that's a question and a half.
Here we go. Well, last week we asked that question, and I got 3 emails about it. I'm like, okay, I'll just take one, but he's not here, so but he might be watching. So if he is,
Maybe watching.
Yeah.
LBR, Long Brown what road?
Lewis Bright Raven.
Oh,
LBR.
Oh,
LBR.
obviously misheard last week's question. Not how many cons have you done in your life? 132. How many have you done in a week? No, that wasn't right either.
No, the question wasn't how many. Question is how many did you do in a year?
How many have you done in a year? Thanks
Yeah.
for writing in, James H. Though.
Yeah. And the question is how many you done in a year? I think that
I think we all saw that. You don't have to rewind the tape. I know how badly you want to do that.
it was like I honestly I talk fast, but I do think that we like when I do cons, and I have to ask you guys this too. When you walk in a con, do you ever actually before you go to con, and the guys in the chat, I like you guys to chime in too. Do you ever get like really depressed before you go to a show, like the night before? Are you excited?
Oh, I'm excited. I don't get depressed. Cons are an incredibly fun thing to go to.
I think it all depends upon the show.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, a lot of when I go to a show, you know, whether or not it ends up being at the end of it all, whether it ends up being a good show or not, is really a lot depending on how much Susie and I make. Because that's most of the reason we go to shows. But beyond that, I've hardly ever had a bad show per se. There's so much more to do. There's talking to other creators and other people and the customers and enjoying the surrounding area. Oh yeah, it's I'm always excited about it. Sometimes I'm a little nervous if we really need to bring in the cash and I'm not sure if we're going to do really well. I might get a little nervous, but it's never a majority of my feelings. It's always kind of underlying. But no, I'm more excited than not.
I've always found that the consumer, the person coming into the show, always can read your vibe. If you're there to desperately make money, you make no money.
Yeah.
But if you're there to have fun, and if you make money, that's awesome. Then you make a lot of money. That's always been the best shows for me, are the ones that I don't have to make a bill, or I'm not worried about covering the overhead or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Those always turn out to be the most successful shows for me. It's like as if they could, the person attendee can read that off of you, like almost like reading your aura.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why Susan and I always, we're always kind of pumping ourselves up before a show, because nobody wants to come to a show and come to your table and get all of your junk that you've been building up for the last several weeks, or I put on the happy face, so to speak.
Nobody wants to walk by your table and see this either.
And oh my God, and the times I'll walk the floor and I'll see guys or gals behind their table and they're just clicking on their phone, heads down, not saying a word to anybody, and then they bitch and moan they didn't make a penny that whole weekend. Well, there you go.
Exactly right.
Nobody wants to come around the table and be the one to interrupt your texting or whatever. So, my God, leave it at home or leave it outside or do it.
And it's almost like a show. I mean, it is a show, and you need to put on a show when you're there, whether you're hurting or what. You're just there to move your product, sell, get people to read your product, and they're not going to do that if you're sitting back here all bitter, or even if you're sitting there drawing and doing commissions a lot of times.
I mean, you got to look up every so often, at least every so often, and say hi, how you doing?
You don't have somebody manning that table to catch somebody walking by.
Yeah. Remember Mr. O'Rourke on Fantasy Island? Smile, everybody. Smile.
Yeah.
Smile. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. It's
be warm, be inviting.
Yeah.
Be happy to be telling people about your stuff.
Yeah, and you got to
be a humble person.
I mean, if you're at a show, but you're all bitter and constipated about
I'm doing well, not the constipated part, but I've sat and been grumpy at shows before. I get told I have a mean expression on my face if I'm not, happy or excited. So
I've never been constipated at a con.
Yeah,
never. You have.
I know. I can't.
Always got to hydrate. Always hydrate.
Always.
Suddenly, my personal vault has popped up. What's that mean? Automatically locks after 20 minutes of inactivity. What the heck? Get rid of that. Anyway, never mind.
No, because I figure anybody who comes to a convention, they're probably coming to a convention because they want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And then maybe they're looking to have their bad day turned around. I'll be more than happy to help them to do that.
Yep.
So.
I have a question for you guys. It's our question of the day, hypothetical question of the day.
Okay.
And
we'll give you an hypothetical answer.
You guys tell me what you think about this. And okay, so you go to a con, And and I need to, I guess, qualify this. Also, all of our hypothetical questions come from an actual
Before you
situation.
go, before you catch in there, Paul Schultz. Thanks for being in the chat. Paul says Bo Smith once said at a con, you have to be yourself. Get ramped up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Arts and Craft Channel says that's the same as my craft shows. I've done the more out there you are, the more customers to get. And yeah, I mean, if you kind of
they read your vibe, they can definitely tell.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt, Varian.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so you are at a show.
Okay.
You're booked to be. You're booked to go to a show. So unlike most of our questions, you're not even there yet. And you get into the show. You get in the registration, and for me, my wife. This didn't happen to me, but a lot of times, my wife Lola will actually do the registration for the conventions for me. And she didn't trust me to do them, and she's right not to trust me to do them because I will forget. And you get down there, you stand in line with your wife, and you walk in, and the receptionist, there's a lady there at the receptionist desk, and she says, "Okay, yeah, here's your table number, here's your lanyard. Sir, you need to be off the floor by 4:30 and out the building." And you says to her, "What?" And she says, "Well, sir, this is a all women's con. No women, no men allowed. Not on the floor, not as customers, and not on the floor, not as sellers, not as exhibitors, not as attendees. We don't even want them in the panels."
So it's purely a woman or female oriented convention. No men allowed.
That is correct.
That actually happened.
Yeah.
And this happened to somebody you know?
Yeah, we had it. Well, I know them by a couple of friends, but
Okay.
we do have a same circle of friends.
All right. So what's the question?
Did they? I have to ask. Did they have a second annual con?
Yes, they're getting ready to have it. It's gonna be awesome.
Do they have it on? Have they only done 2? How many have they done?
2. The second one's coming up.
Okay. Was their first one remotely successful?
I guess
you don't have to answer that. Your answer. Thank you very much. They want to be they want to be exclusive. They're going to end up buying the farm.
What's the question, Varian? You're wondering what our
well, do you turn around? Do you get mad? Do you say what is this nonsense? Or
no, I would have done my research beforehand and never stepped foot close to the venue.
Yeah, if I happen to stumble across it accidentally, I'm out of there. I'm not going to. As they say, I'm not going to stick around where I'm obviously not wanted, that's fine. There's plenty of places I can go haunt without having to, break the rules of a place that's obviously, set it up for that.
But I have a distinct feeling that soon MassageCon will be coming.
MassageCon? I think it seems that a convention like that, though, I think I kind of get what Randy's saying. It seems like it's kind of custom built to be self-imploding, because if they're filtering that convention purely based on gender, you have to kind of wonder what's the purpose. I mean, is it just a place to get away from guys?
What about those that don't quite identify as he or she?
Yeah,
there's that too.
You are excluding all other pronouns and she. What about they, us, and them?
Yeah.
Dave says, I must have missed something in the contract, and he's absolutely right. I would turn around and walk. Oops. Oh, sorry about that. I would turn around and walk out. I'd be like, well, I'd be a little upset, and I'd probably have some questions as to why, I'm being told to leave the show.
I said, next year, all of a sudden, MassageCon.
Yeah.
MassageCon.
I wouldn't bother questioning it, Barry. And obviously, the parameters are obviously quite clear. I'm not about to spend time and energy trying to break that fencing down.
Every
Yeah.
artist I could find that worked on Conan will be the guest.
Masajicon, yeah, I can see it.
Sajikon. Boom.
Yeah.
I can picture the mascot. It's got to be some woman drawn with the big circle template, right?
No,
Hell
it'd
no?
be a big barbarian character. The
Yeah.
circle template girl would be hanging on to his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All he has a beer in his hand and a sword in the other. Lots of muscles.
It's a Boris Vallejo painting come to life.
Yeah.
Exactly. Boris would be there.
Yes. Or at least Julie Boris might be there.
Ralph said BakeCon is coming.
Yeah.
And
Bright Light is on. He said Bright Raven, Bright Light. But yeah, that to me is very interesting. I don't know if I would handle that. Lewis, how about you? I know you came in the ass end of the question, but you walk into a con.
Question.
Okay, you walk into a con, registration. You're putting your stuff down, and the lady says, "Okay, sir, you need to be off the floor by 4:30."
Okay.
And you're like, I'm sorry,
Obviously,
what?
the show starts at 5. So
Yeah.
if it was during the day, you'd have to be out of there by 8:30.
Yeah. And you're like, well, excuse me, obviously.
I'm sorry.
Oh, the show starts at 5. She needs you
5
off.
p.m.
Yep, 5 p.m. She wants you off the floor by 4:30.
What the heck's going on?
you're asking what would we do if somebody gave us a time limit like that?
Well, you didn't know.
You're at an all girls con.
Yeah, you didn't notice that it was an all women's con when you signed up.
Oh, okay.
Do you want your money back?
Well, yeah. I mean, what did you think my name was, Louise?
Oh, if they took our money to get in, then
Yeah.
wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, God, I'd want my money back.
Yeah.
'Cause I have a hard time believing that if there's an all-female con and they accepted money from me to get in and then told me I couldn't stay, then obviously they're trying to jip me out of some money.
Yeah.
And I would definitely want my money back, and I would scoot for the door in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You just didn't understand the rules. That's all.
Yeah, apparently.
If I see a con called, like women's con, I'm gonna go because I'm like, oh well, I make books. Women like my books. Okay, I'll go. I like women. They'll buy my comics. And then if I got to the show and found out that, oh, I'm not supposed to even be here. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, bye Lola. See you later. I'm going back to the hotel. I'll catch you here after the show.
Is this another one of your realistic?
Yeah. Did this happen to someone?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
God.
Poor guy.
That's crazy.
Poor guy.
That's just
he had to leave the show.
oh no.
Yes. You're going to leave the show, sir. You must leave now. We don't want your penis here. It's someone will trip over it. It's dragging the floor. So with that being said, let's see. Jason Moore says, if you register for a convention, wouldn't you notice that it was a female-only convention, though? I mean, wouldn't that be a main selling point of the convention? Wouldn't they say that up front? You think they would? Sad. It's sad that we would have all female convention because, as far as I know, we've never had an all males convention.
Well, it sure felt like that about 30 years ago at a comic show. That's all of us was there, just us guys. Not that we were excluding gals, but most women at the time, they had no reason to be attracted to the comic industry. Nothing was being published for them.
Yes. Yep.
So
I was looking for the definition. I think we're looking at I just had the word here.
Yeah, that lightning strike is like a strobe light, dude.
Yeah. A lightning round.
Something a little more subtle as a background. I'm about to go. What the heck? Touch the screen. Oh, what all crazy.
Misogyny.
Misogyny con, yeah.
So
Can I interrupt with a bit of news? You guys might have heard this.
Mm.
Apparently, Gary Larson's Far Side is coming back.
is that right?
Yeah, good luck on that.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see it.
Wow.
Do you think it's not? Think it's not going to work?
Oh, I think he's coming back to an entire different atmosphere about humor.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, yeah, if it's going to be along the same lines of what he went out with, yeah.
No, he's welcome to. I mean, I'm glad that he's coming back. He
They've
should
got
have
a
never.
huge, they've got a huge
I
Far
can't
Side
wait
book.
to read. I can't
Some-
read. I
Some
can't
scripts should be like peanuts, and they should just be left to burn. You know, if they're gonna and stay as one person, one man shows, and just let it go, because it you see the evolution over time and the genius of that particular creator, and Larson by far is a genius. Just
Oh, yeah.
like Waterston should have never stopped. The gentleman who did Boondocks should have never stopped.
Oh,
You know, Doonesbury has stopped a couple times and then restarted, because it's like printing comics. It gets in your blood, and you're either going to do it or not.
yeah. Well,
You
and
know?
and Trudeau, I mean, his whole thing is completely social and political based.
Oh yeah, yeah. And look at how many times Bloom County has come back, and how many different incarnations, because Burke Breathitt just can't stop.
Yeah.
The Boondocks has come back a few times, a strip here and there, and they are getting ready to do a new cartoon. But yeah, it's
The animation's completely different from comic strips, though. You can get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
Now,
Editor-
the
editor-wise.
thing
I
I
expect it to be edgy on Adult Swim, where you can't get away with a lot of that stuff on American newspapers anymore.
and not to mention, Larson is really up against a completely changed newspaper industry.
That's right.
It
Yep.
doesn't nearly have the coverage it used to, and he still might find us hardcore fans who love his stuff, but
And
it's not going to be nearly as exposed to as many people as it was.
on the positive side, he'll still do good all over most of the rest of the world. He might have a rough time in Canada, but Spain and Europe and all of that will probably welcome him with open arms.
Probably.
And their papers, the ones that ran him before, especially.
Oh yeah.
See
So I
that.
mean, trust me, I'd love to be wrong about this, because I would love to see his stuff catch on fire like it did last time. But
Yeah.
it's 20 years later. 1995 is the last time he did it.
The only downside to that I can see is that it takes my hardback volumes of the Complete Far Side and makes them out of date.
Makes him what?
Out of date.
Oh, out of date. Well, I don't know.
It won't be complete anymore.
yeah.
That's right. Oh, he has to do it long enough so that you can have enough material for another collection.
Yeah, a whole nother collection.
Yeah.
That would be. But yeah, I wish him well on it. Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised he's coming back, but
He
it's all right.
the bug must have bit him.
Yeah.
Or the
Uh,
cat must have bit him.
Sometimes you stop and you figure out you had a hell of a lot more to say.
I know you forgot this one, Randy, and since I got everybody here, I can read it now, because I know we forgot. We're definitely gonna talk about it though, so I'm gonna read it to you. Everyone, listen up.
Okay.
So Randy was really excited about this one, and I didn't forget, Randy. It was from last week's morning show. It was from the Ask Me Anything app that we have. Mr. Zimmerman, I was set up at Indiana Comic-Con when a guy walked over to my table, grabbed my newest book, flipped through it, complimented me on the work. He then rolled my comic up and stuck it in his back pocket before walking away. He did this to two other folks. Convention promoter did speak with the guy who says that all the swag at Comic Cons used to be free in his day, especially the funny books, end quote. He left, but didn't return any of the now ruined merchandise he'd basically stolen. Should the con promoter reimburse us? And I will give you all an opportunity to answer that.
Lewis, what do you think? You're the newest one coming in here tonight. What do you think?
One book per person or something like that. Yeah. Go. I mean, what con promoter wouldn't just give you back the money for the one book you got destroyed? I mean, that's common sense to me.
I echo that, and I also think that in addition to that, the con promoter should make sure
If
that
that person doesn't come in again, yeah.
I would hope the con promoter would try and get the money from the thief.
Well, certainly, yes.
People, definitely.
Well, the guy is trying to pull a stunt. He should have been stopped after the first time. The first book that got rolled up into the back pocket, he should have been stopped right then and there and corrected. Even if he genuinely thought that the books on the table were free, they're not free. And I don't know of any convention that I've ever gone to that the books on the table were free swag, except for the free swag table as you walk into the door.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
You know, and obviously the guy, I think the guy said that in order to try to get away with some free books. But he should definitely have not walked out of the venue with the books. Never. Never.
God.
Even if they were destroyed, they should not be in his possession anymore.
Oh my
And
God.
I don't think the con promoter is responsible for reimbursing, but the first person that happened to should have grabbed him and security.
Mm-hmm.
Once that misunderstanding was done, and that guy, if it was me, I would have ran over there and grabbed my book.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have said, dude, don't do that. I'm selling these books.
Yeah.
Everybody here is selling their books. If you want free stuff, go to the freebie table and pick up some flyers.
No doubt.
I remember the days of going to Wizard World Comic Con, and I didn't take much money. And I remember coming back in the door, and my mother told me, she says, "I thought you didn't have any money." And I'm like, "Oh, this is all free stuff." And my bag was pretty heavy with just like free stuff that I've been given. So there is a point to what he's saying, but I think the guy.
No, I disagree. There isn't. I mean, the thing is, stuff is only free if it's marked as free.
Mhm.
Going to a convention based on an industry where everything costs something,
Mhm.
and I just don't think that
That's
guy.
life. I mean, what is free unless it's marked free? I mean, do you go into the bakery? Oh, they're on the display. I'll just take a donut and leave. No, you can't do that.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, donuts are
Yeah,
tasty.
I think this is one of the negatives from Free Comic Book Day too.
Well, that's true too.
So
Yeah, but
somebody
those books
might
are-
have gone into a retail shop. Oh, all these books are free. Okay, but I don't know of any convention where the comics are free. I mean, you might have a couple of guys give away a preview.
Mhm.
That was their leftovers from Free Comic Book Day, but not everybody's trying to shuffle stuff off. And even now, if you go to San Diego and you catch their variants or whatever, that all costs money. You want to go in there and buy all the exclusive stuff. You buy the exclusive stuff. It's not something that they just hand you.
Jason Moore says, "Thanks for hearing. That's going to be the name of a new podcast YouTube channel. Old guys are about to argue." Excellent show, man.
Like, who is it? Mike Jones does old guys who like old comics.
Yeah, that was Yeet had that on their banner.
Yeah.
Do you guys realize that yeet is slang now, right?
No, for what?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
Does it have
supposed to be
anything
like
to do with milkshakes?
no, it's supposed to be like super excited. I was hoping it would be. I was hoping when I heard yeet that it was going to be like something to deal with like.
I'm sure that's probably an exclamation in the comics. Yeet.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be something. Yeah. Hoping it would be something that dealt with like ejaculation, but it doesn't. It's unfortunately it doesn't mean like being excited.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Show
Oh my
me your
God.
dick until I yeet. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Now I'm not going to be able to get to sleep until I yeet. Look,
I went to the Comic-Con and got yeeted on. I can't believe it.
Oh no.
now speaking of the actual yeet, Randy. Well, though I noticed Bill Lobes him and Nadine were sitting with the yeet guys.
Yeah, Mike helps him out.
Oh, okay. I was just say, is Bill getting stuff published to them?
Yeah, he's doing some work for them for like a Halloween Cthulhu story and a few other. He's printing a couple of public domain characters and doing stuff that old men who read old comics would want to read.
Oh, and is Bill scripting this stuff or drawing
He's
it? Or
he's doing a little everything
oh, wow, cool.
on it whenever he's got the time, and there aren't bigger commercial jobs up there than he's devoting some of his time to yeet. Yeah. But Mike makes it a point to tell everybody that he helps Bill and Nadine out pretty much out of the kindness of his heart. Plus, it gives him, somebody to set up with and show stuff with. Yeah.
Yeah, Bill earns it.
Yeah. I have a quick question, Randy. I'm sorry. I want to touch back on that the Indiana Comic-Con situation real quick. Yeah, when we first talked about it, you had mentioned, and I agree with you, that there should have never been a second and a third time.
Yeah.
Right.
that happened. And I'm not sure you touched on it this time. But there shouldn't have been 3 times where that guy was able to get.
I would have very quickly, if I was the first one, I'd have gone out in front of the table and grabbed him. I mean, not physically grabbed him, but I would have stopped him or stood in front of him and stuck my hand out and said, hey, I need that book if you're not going to pay for it.
See, we assumed, Varian, we're answering the question completely as you put it. If you
Yeah.
want to have us, add an addendum to the actions, I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
I got that guy in a headlock in about 300.
Yeah, I think you said that on the morning. You'd be jumping across the table and
Yeah, I think for the guy to get to three
see how
people,
long I can give you a chokehold for. Yeah.
to get to three people was a bit much, and I'm glad that they did tell him, and maybe he's been
helping me with
corrected.
my new wrestling book.
Yeah, my new book
I'm going to
about
be drawing for WWE comics.
speaking of new comics, we're going to be giving away Thursday morning. I got Inferno City Firehouse was on our show last week from Brian Law. Yeah. And the art in here is gorgeous, like we talked about. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see that, but
Were you here when we talked to that guy, Scott?
were you here Dr. Brian? Brian Law.
Was he on the same day as
No, he wasn't on the same day as Hart. No,
Oh, okay.
No, he was here last week.
I don't think I was.
that's a whole nother situation that we may or may not get into.
Yeah,
Not Hart, but Sim.
I'm almost sure I wasn't here when you talked to this guy. This stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
Is he a European guy or what?
No, he's from right here in Michigan.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty sophisticated stuff.
Yeah.
I have to talk to him. Though. I was very upset. I was noticing that he had some pictures in the back where other artists had drawn sketches of his characters, and I'm not in here. I wasn't asked, but I wasn't in here.
Doesn't that drive you crazy?
Doesn't it?
See that, you go,
Yeah.
"Man, I could have drawn something in that.
Yeah.
Why didn't he ask me? I'd have done it for free.
I wasn't asked.
You
at
need
all.
exposure.
Really?
Those exposure bucks, man. They'll kill you.
But
People die.
People die of exposure.
Yeah.
People
they
die
do.
of exposure. Good point.
Yeah, they do. They-
So are you like having a hangover there today, Varian?
Yeah, this is my after con.
You weren't here, but we suspect Lola gave him a couple of shiners. That's right.
Ah,
Especially after one of the letters that he read.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm covered. I'm covering my battered face. That's why I'm putting the mic in front of my face today. No one look at me. I'm hideous.
Well,
what else they do? No.
you beat me by 2 seconds.
We had I do think that what we've done, and Lewis, you missed one of the questions, which is we were accused of being showing favoritism. Was that pretty much it, Randy? We showed,
Yeah, that's somebody who didn't understand what was going on.
They thought we had been that we have been kind of kissing up to Ethan Van Sciver because we kind of
Wait, does Varian even know who Frazetta is? I know who Frank Frazetta is. He's the guy who did the Death Dealer picture, and
who's Mo.
and he's now according to certain people, no one in this chat, Frazetta can't even lick Geiger's boots or sharpen his pencils. Yeah,
Who said that?
I can't throw other artists under the bus.
Art is so subjective.
Yeah.
Now, but one person's
What
got
are you talking about?
the next person's, Jim Lee. Yeah, so it's just-
You're putting H.R. Geiger above Frazetta?
Yeah, it was a friend of mine. He actually put Geiger above Frazetta.
Oh, Varian.
That wasn't me. It wasn't me.
from what I understand, Frazetta
Bill said it. Okay.
Frazetta is very much like Frank Lloyd Wright.
Mhm.
When Lloyd would lay out a house, or most of the time, he was bored out of his mind. But when it come time to paint, it was like, when's the client getting here? Half an hour? Okay, give me a canvas.
Oh, wow, really?
There's a very famous story about Frank Lloyd Wright where they showed him the topography for the I don't remember the name of the house, but it's the one that has the waterfall in the middle of it.
Oh, falling water. That's the
Water. Yes, that. Okay. Anyway, he sent his assistants out to do measurements and to take pictures, and he left them tacked on a board, and he kept working, doing other stuff. Well, the people that owned the house called him up one day. They were about 6 hours away, 6-hour drive. Called him up and said, "Hey, how are the plans for our house coming? Because it's been months." And he goes, "Yeah, they're all done. You can come over. They're all done. We're just waiting for you." "Oh, okay. Well, we're getting in our car now and we're driving over."
Oh,
So he had his assistants come in and made sure his assistants kept him with sharp pencils, and he did like we hear a lot of these artists do. They started at one corner.
yeah. Lloyd Wright was a
That
genius.
was the whole falling water. He had it in his head already. He just hadn't taken the time to sit down and actually draw the thing out. It was all there.
Jason
It was
Morse.
all there in his head.
Jason Moore says on a side note, and a little something to give everyone a chuckle, Rob Liefeld has accused Frazetta as being a prime example of another artist besides him that avoids feet.
But I heard Frazetta was just an incredibly fast painter, and when he painted, he painted, and it was like, done.
Well, I'll guarantee you, Frazetta didn't avoid feet because he didn't know how to draw it. He avoided feet if only because it suited the composition. You've got plenty of paintings where you see the feet of the character. Drawings too.
I guess I'd have to go back and look.
I got a I don't know if it was really a guffaw or was it a chuckle out of Randy this morning. We're watching a video, which I won't name, and Randy and the artist had been compared to
the artist compared himself to Liechtenstein.
Who did?
The video that we were watching.
Yeah.
Oh,
So basically, he takes other people's stuff and paint them. Way, good.
and Randy,
I started rolling. I said,
comparing yourself to Liechtenstein is not a compliment.
that's like saying I'm a gray humanitarian. I've been compared to Hitler quite often.
Oh man.
I remember when
wait a minute.
when I was in Kendall in art history class,
really, just no.
and they started showing, and this was back in 76, 77, and the art history teacher was showing slides of some of the great artists of the past and worked her way into the modern era, and she showed slides of Liechtenstein's work. First time I'd seen it, and me and a couple buddies that were into comics, sitting around me. Oh, right away we said, that looks like Russ Heath. That looks like Joe Giegler or whatever. We started questioning the art teacher that this looks like he just copied comics, panels of comics. Yep. Oh no, he was an innovator and all this. I said, no, look, it's a copy. And we were just ostracized for several months in art history class, but it was obvious to anybody that was
dude, I almost punched my art history teacher in the face over this.
Oh,
violent.
He spent his entire time I was in his class. All you comic book dorks aren't worth shit. You'll never amount to anything. And then he puts out Liechtenstein. I'm like, motherfucker, boom.
and that was how entrenched into the
and that was 92
at the time. Yeah.
There was a couple of court battles on that, wasn't there?
Oh yeah. I think there still is. The Liechtenstein estate is still battling with the heirs of Heath and
Russ Heath,
Hollywood and those guys.
Yep.
I never saw him take a piece of Wally Wood, but I know Russ Heath and Irv Norvik were pretty big.
Yeah, maybe it probably wasn't Wood. All the guys from that era were they were fodder for Liechtenstein, and it was amazing what he stole. And passed off as original, just because he painted it 6x6 with I don't know, horseshit.
Right down to the dot printing patterns.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it was so innovative. It was like taking a magnifying glass and bringing it in. Who cares?
Which is about all he really did.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
You didn't think of doing that. Yeah, I also didn't think about putting the flag down a U.S. States flag into a toilet, but you call that art too.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think that he? It's funny because my wife has several shirts that like are kind of inspired by that Liechtenstein type of art. I think she's wearing one. Yeah, like they just have like pictures like of gosh, like hold on, see if I can bring a example up. Let's see if I can bring.
So how come we're on Monday night?
Well, we won't be here Tuesday.
I have an appointment in another dimension.
Let's see.
I've been building the trap door all day.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, like,
that's
you guys.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah, like my wife has a couple shirts, kind of like that,
I
but they're like
sincerely
all
hope that-
over.
the Liechtenstein estate isn't getting any of that for that.
Yeah.
I sincerely hope.
Plagiarism gains another generation.
Lewis just jumped off to start making his own dimensional doorway. Is that what it is?
Perhaps. Yeah.
No, I'm here.
Camera. Did his camera drop?
Yeah.
Camera dropped on you?
There it is. Must have glitched. Anyway,
I mean, so when you look at that art, and obviously the man was, tracing and stealing, but
wonders of an overhead projector. That's what that is.
you know what's funny? You want to see something funny, guys? Hold on.
Sure.
This is a very funny Liechtenstein piece. It's very apropos.
They're all funny in a tragic way.
You read what it says?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you ask that? What do you know about my image duplicator?
What do you know about my image duplicator?
You traced it, you son of a.
Anybody can be a Liechtenstein anymore. They just have to hit a public domain book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, then with
Don't worry
Photoshop,
about it.
you just blow it up and not even paint it, just get it printed out.
I was gonna
There's so
start.
much awesome Ditko out there now that's in the public domain that I don't know why somebody's not doing it on a regular basis.
I was gonna
Oh,
start tracing.
Other than the fact that they may have ethics. So
Is Ditko's work public domain?
there is an incredibly huge chunk of Charlton that never got copywritten correctly.
Oh, and now it's in public domain. No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, an incredibly large chunk.
I was gonna start copying Scott, tracing him. That's what I was gonna do.
I was going to do a series. I was going to do a series of shirts about different superhero animals that are in public domain because there are a couple of really cool ones.
Yeah.
I don't know how many I'd move.
There's a guy that he's publishing a bunch of public domain golden superheroes as
Oh, there's people out there doing. There's always been people out there doing a lot of that. I've got a really awesome Captain Marvel Junior book that's got all Mac Raboy artwork in it that a guy pretty
kidding.
much mimeographed off of the originals. Same thing with the Ray and Black Condor. I've had them for years, but
Wow.
they've been there ever since the folks started looking at lapsed copyrights. These people have been grabbing stuff and copying them as much as they can. Yeah. In fact, they really need to have a good test case go through the courts, which has still yet to happen in order for them to define exactly where the public domain stance is. Because the copyright laws, especially here in the States, have changed so many times. Everything is so gray. So now anybody who challenges anybody, it all depends on whether you want to call them on their bluff or not about whether or not you actually keep going. Except Diamond. Anytime Diamond gets served with a cease and desist, they back right down. They don't even want to take the chance of losing money.
Oh wow.
So they'll just refuse that product and sorry.
They don't want to get caught in the middle of any kind of lawsuit.
No, they don't want to. And it's smart business for them,
Sure.
especially since they're having a hard time surviving as it is. They don't want to get caught up in the court.
That,
That could cost them a lot of money. They just turn it down. And we have the right to turn you down. We're turning you down. Done. Because they just had that happen with the Sumerian. It's Italians. I think there's an Italian publishing company that adapted Queen of the Black Pearl from Robert Howard.
oh, no kidding.
The Conan story. They didn't put Conan on the cover, or they did, and it was in small letters. It was enough for Diamond to back out on. They were calling it the Sumerian, and apparently it was just phenomenally gorgeous. Just
Oh,
beautiful stuff. And then they reprinted the story in the back of the in the back of the book. I mean the prose story. I was really looking forward to seeing that come out.
that's awesome.
I
Jason
need to
says
find out what that McRoy is called. It's called there's one called Captain Marvel Jr. and the other one's called the Ray and Black Condor.
Hey, and I agree with
Give
Jason.
me a second. I'm pretty sure I even know where they are on my bookshelf back here. I can go get them.
Yeah, we need to know the name of that Mac Red Boy book. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Red Boy was just awesome.
Hang on, I'll go get them. Both of those are Raboy because Raboy handled a whole string of the Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Back
Didn't
that period.
Red Boy also work on Flash Gordon? And
Oh yeah. He took over, I think, between Barry and somebody else. I think. Yeah, he ran it for a couple of years. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Stuff's awesome. Yeah, Red Boy, just great.
what? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, is rain going to keep you up, Barry? We don't need to.
Let's
I'm
see.
tired. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know these people. I'm going to sleep now.
I love the idea of talking old public domain stuff and writing that dialogue to make it funny, snappy, and twisted. Yeah, then that's how you get Rawhide Kid, the new one. Because
No, that's different.
No, Rawhide Kid wasn't public domain. That
yeah,
was,
no, he wasn't. I like it. Marvel brought him back. I got some old Rawhide Kid books. I got the trade down here too.
Yeah, they were called special edition series.
he did Captain Marvel Jr. Is that Red Boy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Who
awesome.
printed it? It was printed by Alan Light, who was the guy who ran CBG for many years.
Well, yeah.
This reprints Captain Marvel from Master Comics number 27 to 42. It's come out in 1975.
Oh, nice.
And it's not the reprint quality on that is in black and white. It's not that great. Some of it's a little grayed out, but it's all Raboy.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
just beautiful stuff. And this come out during a period when they figured that Captain Marvel Jr. was in public domain enough that they weren't going to get in trouble for printing it out.
Wow.
And the other one is Black Condor and the Ray.
Oh,
Special
awesome.
limited series. And the Ray on the back. And it reprints all of the let me see here if it's got a notation. That's number 2. Louis Fine, other artists. It's got an introduction by Steranko. The copyright on that was 74.
Wow.
So, and that's it's got the same quality of but the same reprinting quality. It looks like somebody just mimeographed the somebody must have found stats or something. They were able to wipe out the color because it's all in black and white.
Still,
but
as long as even as long as the gray's even crisp and sharp.
Some of it, there's a small color section in there where they tried to keep the color on the story, but it's all Lou Fine and Mac Raboy.
Blue Fine, awesome stuff.
That's why I got them. But I've had these literally for decades.
Oh, you didn't just get them somewhere.
Oh no. I don't even know. I think I caught them at a con somewhere years ago, and it's just one of those books that you're never going to get rid of. You look through once a year or so and drool over it.
Our local comic shop, the owner is always buying out collections and overstock and everything. So he's got boxes of books for just like $6. And he had, and I snagged it, a collection of the Russ Manning Tarzan strips from the early to mid 70s. Oh God, it's just tremendous. Big.
IDW has done 3 volumes of that. They've got all of the Russ Manning stuff is out there. And just recently, and those volumes are amazing.
Oh my God.
You can find those on Amazon.
Yeah. And these were, and this is the IDW edition.
And it's not just pretty because Manning really cared about Tarzan when he was on. It's just gorgeous stuff. The stories are awesome. Varian falls asleep when old men talk about amazing comic artists from the past. LOL. That's what Jason Moore says. Probably. But yeah, the Captain Marvel is all Raboy, and the Ray and Black Condor is mostly Lou Fine.
Oh yeah.
But it's all just incredibly pretty, gorgeous stuff.
Oh yeah.
So this is really interesting for me because I just came home from dinner with a conversation from a friend of mine from out of town, and all we did for the last 2 hours before this was talk about old comics.
Well, back during the 70s and 80s, there was all sorts of strip reprints and stuff done. You just have to go, and a lot of these old time retailers are going to have magazine boxes that they probably have to blow the dust off of in order for you to go through and look. All the old eerie and creepy and Vampirella stuff's all here and there are just incredibly beautiful.
And there was really, it was almost like a whole subculture of
the majority of them. Yeah.
Reprinting this older stuff, because that's the mid 70s is when the collection of Franklin Booth drawings got reprinted. That was originally from the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, all this stuff is just awesome to see now, especially with the printing quality we have now. It's just amazing.
That's as far as your comic history goes. Is that what you want to tell us?
That's right. Mr. Lee and Mr. Kane.
Oh,
that's right. Look at them. Without them, we wouldn't have the comic industry. They should be put on stained glass and chapels built in their image.
Well, without Lee. Kane, I don't know.
Leave him alone. You leave him alone. You leave him alone. I'm just kidding.
Kane was kind of a coordinator for the Batman property. And even that's kind of up for debate between Jerry Robinson and Bill Finger.
Yeah, I know.
Are we talking Bob Kane or Gil Kane?
Bob Kane. Gil Kane's a whole different animal.
Bob Kane probably did.
Gil Kane was the workhorse. He was a workhorse.
Oh man, Gil was amazing. Yeah,
really was. Not
only that, but he was an entrepreneur too. I've got both of his. I got the 2 magazines he did, Savage and something else. Danger,
Savage. Oh God, that was a great strip.
I've got his Black Mark book, and there's like 3 or 4 different versions of a Starhawk strip that I've got.
Oh God, yeah.
Every time it's reprinted, I buy it just because it's I haven't seen that format before. So
I remember looking through the Black Mark series just to find the occasional panel inked by Adams.
Yeah,
Neil would lend a hand with that stuff.
Well, he was on deadline.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He had to get both of them. There were 2 books. He had to get them done real quick, and he even had Archie Goodwin wrote those. Went through and over his notes, and scripted them. Yeah. So they're all good. Fantagraphics just reprinted them in a larger size not too long ago, just so the artwork would be a little bit more blown up for everybody to see,
and hopefully better reproduction. That's because
it's aces. Yeah, it's really nice.
Because Kane used a ton of Zipatone on those.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
and usually the reproduction is so poor because they shot from
Well, he planned on them being, if you ever saw the originals, they're paperbacks. They're paperback book size.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the one by Fantagraphics is blown up bigger. It's about mass trade paperback size.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a nice book. I know where that's at, too. I can go get it if you want to see it.
Oh, I love it.
They reprinted both of the stories, and the second one had never been reprinted in book form before. Marvel took a photocopy version of it and chopped it up and stuck it in Marvel Preview, one of the black and white magazines of the day.
Yeah,
but it had never been presented in its original intended form, but Fantagraphics did it.
Yeah, well, because Archie Goodwin and company they were starving for content for those black and white magazines.
Well, that's true. But when Gil did that work, he was desperately trying to find other avenues of doing sequential art that didn't tie him into the mainstream guys, because he couldn't stand working for either company.
Was he trying to get a syndicated deal with that Black Mark stuff?
No, that was a deal. It was specifically supposed to be a paperback book. They wanted to do a whole series because that was back during the time that the Robert E. Howard reprints and the Otis Klein reprints and the Burroughs reprints were really hitting hard. And he pitched doing Black Mark to them, which is a barbarian in the apocalyptic future. The guy had a mark on his face that was supposed to make him ultra special. And the company, I don't remember the book company that took it, gave him a commitment for 2. And with a option for 6.
Wow!
And so they cranked out 2, and they printed 1.
And that was all pre-Thundar too, because that was.
Oh yeah, no, this was long before Thundar.
Oh yeah,
this is just as the original Conan paperbacks were coming out with the Frazetta covers on.
Oh yeah, was that the Lancer editions or was that the?
No, I want to say they were Tor, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it was Lancer.
Give me
It was also when Bantam was doing the Doc Savage reprints too.
You mean without Kirby, Jerry Robinson, and Bill Finger? I don't know about Kirby on Batman, or on yeah. I don't think Jason. We were talking about Bob Kane specifically. So let me. I'm gonna shut my camera off and I'm gonna dig through my paperbacks. I might actually have that original Black Mark sitting in there.
Lewis,
Hang on just a second.
what was the conversation you were having pre getting on air tonight? You said you were talking about old comics.
Yeah, a friend of mine from before my professional days was he came into town to do a seminar for his job, and he didn't realize that he was in my hometown. So I was like, well, dude, since you're here, let's go get dinner. And so we had dinner and we were just talking about, comics in general and talking about stuff that we liked and, that sort of thing mainly.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. And then, in the middle of that conversation, I get a text from Varian saying, hey, are you there?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's like, we're not. And I didn't even realize he was saying that they were going on tonight, just that you weren't going to be on tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm all right.
Yeah. I just stumbled across it myself. I just by happen chance. But so is it this friend of yours? Is this friend a really good, a really big fan of this older stuff too?
Yeah, he is. He's also a professional writer and.
Oh, really? Can you drop a name?
Anthony Cardinal. Mm-hmm. You probably don't know him, but he just got honorable mention along with Maurice Bordeaux for a short story in Ellen Batlow's.
Hey, we see Varian is obviously getting comfortable.
Yeah.
Also see listen to old guys talk comics.
Yeah.
Varian, wake up.
What newsprint? What?
Rob
Newsprint.
Liefeld.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I was having a horrible nightmare. I had a dream that they were only printing comics in newsprint. I'm sorry. Oh, it was scary.
Not a nightmare, it's real.
It was scary. I'm sorry.
But
Ugh.
no. So you said he's a published author, though. I mean, is it like an independent publisher? Or?
Yeah, he just did a short story that he co-wrote with Maurice Bordeaux called Wolf at the Door. It appeared in a magazine or book called Chiral Mod 4, which just got an honorable mention in Year's Best Horror Volume 11.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And he's done some other stuff as well. So,
but longtime fan of comics, obviously.
Yeah. He's. We were talking about.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we were talking about pre-Giffen Legion, and we were talking about a lot of the old stuff that we were doing when we were both in amateur press zines, and talking about that history before either one of us got into professional writing and editing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun conversation because I hadn't actually met him in person. We've known each other for 30 years, but we hadn't met before. So,
Really? One of those long distance friendships? I understand.
Well, we were both part of an amateur press alliance scene. And I came in around 90, and he was one of the original founding members of that group. And we just hadn't crossed paths until this particular week, and it was just like weird,
Wow, that's great. I mean, I love it when you make those kind of happen chance connections with somebody that they happen to be around at the same time. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I couldn't find the original, but I did find the Fantagraphics reprint. I thought I had the original for it.
Oh, wow.
It's hiding back there.
Varian, give us a close to that.
Okay, 1 second.
Hang on.
I don't want to tell you.
Very much. And it's a very interesting way to tell a story, combination of words and pictures.
Oh yeah, it
More
was
of an equal, sequential art storytelling. Whenever there was dialogue, they actually used word balloons.
I actually a little close. There you go. That's your classic. The classic Gil Kane face.
Oh, it's very classic. Yeah. And originally that come out in the paperback book size.
Oh, all right. Did you do a new cover for the big version?
That's probably something that was sitting around. I'm pretty sure they released this shortly after he passed.
What was that? Starhawks thing, a smaller one you showed?
Yeah. Randy, could you hold Starhawks back up?
That was they did that in 2002. this version. Fantagraphics did. This is an old Starhawks reprint from his. That Starhawks was a comic strip that he did.
Right.
And that's printed sideways.
Oh,
And,
wow.
okay. And I've got the Hermes Press edition from a few years ago.
Yeah. Plus,
Okay.
plus IDW did like an incredible reprint on that. That's a much bigger sized book that folds out. I've got that. I've got both of those back here somewhere.
Oh, Hermes Press, they did an impressive amount of material.
Yeah, they reprinted a lot of stuff. Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
there you go. Yeah.
Yep. Is that the Hermes? That's a Hermes Press one. Yeah.
Lewis, I saw that in the bookstore, and for God help me, I could not bring myself to buy it. I don't know why. I didn't pull it for
You
that.
should have kicked yourself in the butt for not doing it.
I should have. I really should.
More than worth the price of the book.
Big book.
A book.
Yeah.
No, that stuff's awesome.
That thing's like wide, man. It's as wide as I am, you know.
How much did that cost, Lewis?
30.
30?
Really? Oh, that's a steal. That's a steal.
And I actually got it for less than that, but the cover price is 30.
That's awesome. Awesome. I love nothing more than haunting used bookstores.
Mhm.
Like that, Randy, like that one. Oh, he's off right now. Anyway.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered this out of Diamond, actually.
Oh, way back in the way back, or just not?
No. Let's see. When did this come out? This version was produced in 2003.
Oh, okay. Still this. Yeah, but I love coming across old bookstores because you never know what you're going to find. It's just awesome stuff.
You know, I tell you guys something. I was in Second and Charles last week.
You were what?
I was in Second and Charles last week, which is a used bookstore.
Oh,
They happen to carry comics, and they were having a buy 5 get 5 free sale.
oh, nice.
And I was, I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna go. So I went and I got some old books that I've had that were in better condition than what when I was a kid, I read these books. And now they mean something to me, so I want to have them in pristine condition.
Right.
But as I'm going through, hold on, Randy, bring that up.
There's a Tarzan book.
Oh, yeah. That's not what I have, but that's that
Hey,
same
Manning, that's hardback. That
years of that one.
IDW shot right off of the originals,
Oh, kidding.
right off of Syndicate Stats, I believe. This covers 67 to 69.
Okay. The one I have is the Full Color Sundays reprinted.
Okay, this is volume 1 of the newspaper strips.
And what years?
67 to 69.
Wow.
They do have the Sundays in there in color.
Oh, do they? Okay.
That spine just cracked pretty hard too, so it's sitting there for a bit.
The Sundays I have, I think, are 72 to 75.
You want to talk about pretty? Oh my goodness!
Yes. And in there,
That's Manning at his best, doing his best.
the volume I have has got several repros of articles and letters that Manning had to send to the publishers to keep the deals in place so that he could maintain the quality, because he was all about trying to keep up with all this world-class strip and other talents at the time.
At the time, he had who did he have? I want to say not Workman. Oh man, I could see his work in my head. He had Dave Stevens and a number of people working as assistants for him.
Yeah.
There's
When Manning did,
it's got a big opening article with different letters and stuff.
yeah. And Manning was, and when he started the Star Wars strip, he was bringing in Dave Stevens, William Stout. He had all kinds of guys helping him out every so often.
Yeah.
Jason Moore says a very large amount of Gil Kane original artwork is being lost to time because he used big flare markers to ink, and so much of the artwork is completely fading away as time goes on.
Yeah, a lot of it's turned purple and all that.
It soaks right into the fiber of the Bristol board.
Yeah,
I want to show you guys something real quick.
he was all about speed.
And even back then, you could tell some of the DC work that he was doing looked really bad and fuzzy because he was the flare pen or the pens he was using were soaking in and really more thick than they should have been.
Yeah, he really had no business using those kind of markers. I mean, he should have known better.
Did what he could to make the line that he could to get the money that he could.
That's true. He was, like I said, he was of course.
So I mentioned I was the Second in Charles,
Uh-huh.
and I ended up getting books that I've had when I was a kid. They were in bad condition, a well-read condition nowadays. So one of the books I never had was I never got a chance to get issue number 2 of Marvel Comics versus DC.
Oh, versus DC. Oh, is that the follow-up volumes they did after the official first one? Or
So I don't think those were the ones by Perez, were they?
I'm not sure.
Perez.
No.
should be credited in the inside cover if it is. I
Perez
don't,
did Avengers versus Justice League, right?
Yeah. And again, it was buy 5 get 5 free. This particular book was $5, right?
yeah.
That's the one by Jurgens and Neri. You can see on the bottom, across the bottom of it.
Yeah, and the inside is a lot of those Filipino guys. I think one of them did it, or Italian guys.
I got Spawn number 8 because not Stan.
Why did you waste your money on that?
Well, this one's only $2.95.
Oh.
So I'll show you guys something.
Come on.
I picked this one up.
Careful, Lewis. Careful.
Spider-Man 36, the 9/11 issue. And I want you guys to see. You can see that, but
What's it say?
let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
We can't read it. We still can't read
$25,
$29.
$29.
Yeah.
You didn't pay $29 for that, did you?
Yes, I did. But this is the one that I thought I was happy with. I'm like, oh my gosh, look what I found.
Oh my God. Oh, that's it. I gotta go for a minute.
I got a set of X-Forces that Scott Moore gave to me to give away as a door prize, if that's any help for exactly what that book's worth.
It was
Somebody gave that to me. I used it as a door stop.
$4.95.
I paid $4.95 for it.
I'll be back in a minute, guys.
Okay. But today or yesterday Saturday, I'm at the con and guys, I felt like Second Charles took me. I feel like Second Charles bit me over and took me. Let me grab my ankles because I'm going through a guy's 50-cent bin.
And there it is.
And there's like 5 of these in there.
Yep.
So I bought them. I bought them so I could open one because I really want the trading card.
They call that dollar cost averaging. So now all 6 of them, you paid so much.
Oh my goodness, I was so upset.
Oh, some people do that with stocks.
Mm-hmm. I felt really used and
as well you should.
Yeah, I felt used.
Of course, buying an X-Force number 1.
What I'm gonna do next time, Randy, is I'll just message you when I'm in. I normally message you when I'm in Second Charles, and I should have messaged you this book like, hey, look at the price. Should I pay this?
Yeah, is this worth it? I depending upon my mood, I might tell you, yeah, it's worth twice as much. Get up. Just talked him into buying a Death of Superman for $35.
Have a good laugh at my expense. That's messed up.
I'll try to sell it. $1.99 on eBay. There we go.
I did just purchase some X-Men books though from eBay.
We're sorry.
Yeah. Because the reason
burned in Austin, son, you got burned.
Well, no.
What'd you say, Randy?
I said, unless it was burned in Austin, you got burned.
Oh, I don't know. Early Cockrum before Burn in Austin.
Maybe some Cockrum. Yeah, maybe some Cockrum.
Maybe some Cockrum.
Adams Run.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I found a $75 comic in that guy's 50-cent box in Monroe. Which book was it, Jason?
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us, what book was that?
I like $75 comics.
I 103 for 50 cents.
You've what?
I've earned X-Men 103 for 50 cents before.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that. I was the guy when you were a little boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What condition was it in? Good?
Yeah. Really, really nice condition.
Let me see here. The oldest book I have is I have some old books. I got that book where it's in shit condition now.
Him get some books that were before he was born.
Who, me? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The one where Green Lantern is quitting and throwing his ring down.
Like Jason said, Sentry #1. When did that go up?
You mean the Sentry with the big yellow and blue costume?
When did that hit $75? I'm sure the retailer still figured it was only worth 50. Are you sure you know the value on that book, Jason?
Is it signed?
On you, but
It could be signed.
by Stan Lee.
Stan Lee, Quesada, the Pope.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Hang on. I'll be right back.
Okay. We're not talking to Scott Roseman's chair as well. It's awesome. Is that a baker's rack? Does Scott Roseman have a baker's rack in his office? That is a baker's rack. I'm gonna pick on him. And look, he's got the fan going. He's baking muffins. He's baking sweet bread. Ooh.
No,
He's
baking.
suddenly Scott is nowhere to be found.
Scott is nowhere around because he's baking brownies. That's what he said. That's what we're saying.
Apparently, it features a bad guy being featured in an upcoming Disney streaming service show. And Dave says, "Are you serious? I've been looking for that book." What?
What does?
The Sentry #1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sentry #1 as of July 19th, a 9.8 grade went for $325.
Jesus.
I got that.
Let me see that. Hold on.
Let me go ahead and give you the.
Mm,
Let me see if I can figure out what.
that's pretty cool. Raina, those the repros?
Are those original art?
It's a repro.
Oh, I was gonna say.
That's funny. Seeing it over the camera, you're like, oh my God, that's the cover for X-Men 95. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, heck, I
bought a repros.
I had a Shang-Chi page that I pulled out of my file cabinet that I sold at the show. I probably sold it for way too little.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know.
Bet you with the movie coming out.
Yeah, especially with the movie coming out. It was an awesome page, though. I bought it because it looked good and had a great picture of Shang-Chi down in the bottom. Great vertical panel of him trying to pick himself up after a big fight and talking about the importance of not giving up. It's really
Don't
good.
give up, Shang-Chi. Don't give up.
It's really good.
You could be Marvel's Iron Fist since they ruined the Iron Fist.
Yeah, really. It was Gene Day and Mike Zeck inking.
The copy I found, the copy of Sentry #1 I found is an amazing edition. Jason, I seen you next to me about a table down, and you were over there for quite a while. Was it the gentleman to my left? If you remember where I was sitting, I should have went over there and dug through his stuff.
It was obviously a retailer who didn't realize what he had. So
I'm upset. I should have did it.
Yeah, but you got to remember that $325 version of that book is bagged and slabbed and tagged, and
I can get it slabbed. I got a question for you guys, because this is what do you think about these creators getting their indie books slabbed and graded?
What about it?
Is it they I know some indie creators that do it. They put their books on the
on the eBay,
or up at their tables, and they say that it drives sales. People see the book slab, they think, oh, this is something that's worth it. And then I saw a printing company just yesterday saying, hey, our books are graded. We've got a book graded at 9.8.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And Jason says, damn you, Randy. I wish you would have told me about that Master of Kung Fu original. I've always wanted that page. And he says, yep, it was a dealer next to you, Varian. Yeah, see, I should have went over there, but I was stuck in my table. Unlike Jason, who apparently had opportunities to get from his table. But that's what happens when you're big time. You can just get up and just go walk around, and you know, little old me stuck at my table slaving away.
Wish you would have told me about that Master Kung Fu original. You did. I keep telling you to come over, buddy. You never do. Anyway, I only have 2 slabbed books. That's all I own. That slab from CGC. Both of them are 9/8. One of them's the Owasso Taco House Funnies. And the other one is the Scribble Monster book that Lane did, or that Perry did. Perry Toth. Both of those were gifts, and they're both, And the reason they're 9/8 is because somebody signed them.
Do you think that's good for a printing company to do that, Randy? A
To do
printing
what?
company saying, "Hey, we've had books. We've printed books that have been graded 9.8."
A printing company?
Yeah.
All depends on what they're printing.
Comics.
I mean, all depends on what comics they're printing.
I don't know if that's really.
On-demand guy, and they did it themselves. Did they get the publisher's permission? Or is this another crack and print kind of thing?
I'm not sure.
That's a big plus.
I was on their website and they were like, "Hey, our books have been graded at 9.8 by
Well,
CGC."
that means that they're 2 points off, then, aren't they?
Yeah.
9.9. Is there a higher grade than 9.9?
I think somebody's book got like a 9.9 or something.
9.95, 9.9.
It was really high. It was like, and they made a big deal out of it. I'm like, what was there no foxing along the edges? And what's that in Rosen's hand? He's got books.
I do.
He's got books.
I got books, baby.
We all dipped into our libraries tonight.
Yeah.
He has some nice, fabulous furry freak brothers and Wonder Warthog in those boxes, 50 cents each.
Oh, nice.
Oh no! Oh no! I wish I'd have been at the show.
You know how many times I used to sit around the campfire with my buddies laughing at those?
I got that.
Oh, Bodes. Awesome.
That's not exactly easy to find item.
We're gonna have to start doing the classic comics discussion.
Now here's the one I have, Randy.
Oh yeah, I got that.
Similar cover, and it's 71, 74.
Yeah.
And it's not just, I thought it's not just the Sunday comics. Variant, if you fall asleep, I'm going to go over and kill you.
You pull it out of pillow, you're funny. Does that have the Land Before Time book and the couple of graphic novels that he did for the year?
He's so sleepy is because Peyton picked his
Some of that great dinosaur action.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's what that is. Yeah.
Just awesome. And it does have the Sundays in the back.
Dark Horse reprinted those in color at one point, I believe.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Oh God, some of the stuff is just stunning. I mean, look at that.
Oh yeah, no, it's beautiful. Yep.
Yes. Wow.
Just phenomenal.
Something else I'm going to show you that from an artist to an artist. Here's a book that I had to order from. I had to order it I think through either Peter Eng or Bud Plant. I'm not sure, but Nestor Redondo, art of.
Oh, that's nice.
That is just, and it's just awesome.
Yep.
Yes.
The
just the name, I know it's gonna be like wow.
Oh, it's just
that's sweet.
Just wonderful stuff.
Yep.
These full page, like this one here, is especially one of my favorites. This one here.
Yep. I was just mentioning at the show that nobody's really put together a good art book of John Buscema of his Conan material. That they really
and there's tons of that stuff. Just tons of it. So yeah, that's
Nestor's the same way. He did a stint on Conan on Savage Sword, didn't he? I'm pretty sure
he was making Buscema around issues 110, 110, and 112.
What's that about? Sour face Varian.
Oh, what?
I see that.
What the hell, man?
No, I was looking at the art actually.
I'm pretty sure there were three volumes of that Russ Manning book, and I got them all. So I had to.
Paul says, if you're talking about the Scribble Monster pinup book, I'm in that one. It was a lot of fun.
That's the one. Red cover. Yep. I got a 9.8 graded.
And then Jason Moore says, yes, I have that book, Scott. Amazing work.
Yeah.
Oh, the Redondo? Oh, yeah. The thing about it is, if you read up on Nestor Redondo's history, he was like the comic god in the Philippines above almost everybody. And I was amazed that he was inking Buscema and all that. It was just
he came over. Jim Moore brought him over, didn't he?
Actually, it was who'd you say brought him over?
Jim Warren for the Eerie and Creepy books, right?
Oh yeah, at the same time, Giordano from DC was also snagging those guys up about the same time.
Yeah.
Because you can see a lot of that DC's like House of Mystery and Tales of the Unexpected.
I want to say Ernie Chua was in there.
Yeah, Ernie Chua was another one, and Alfred Alcala.
Yeah.
Alfredo Alcala. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
they did a lot of Warren work also, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, and talk about workhorses. I mean, Alfredo Alcala
Yep.
was the rumor is he could crank out like 5 of those Savage Sword of Conan pages a week, which is it's amazing.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. That's
Detail.
amazing. Yeah, he's good.
Oh my God, those guys are just animals. They're wonderful.
And anybody out there who's younger than us, which is probably just about everybody, if you go to your local retailer and you snoop around, take a day, take a Saturday and start digging through their magazine boxes, dust the dust off, and take a look at what's in there. You know, you could probably pick this stuff up for kind of a song, probably $2 to $6, maybe $8.
Oh yeah, if you can, you can find probably some fairly worn copies for $1 out of the 50-cent bin.
Yeah, and your retailer is probably going to be shocked that you're even dusting the dust off of the magazine box.
Oh yeah, well they said my
You got a whole stack of stuff, and you've got a
retailer had this line for $6.
Yeah,
in the secondhand box. It's unbelievable. I mean, that's
what's
just
the Tarzan books?
yeah. This volume here,
Wow.
$6 for this.
Oh, man. Somebody didn't know what they had. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
That's sweet. I think I paid 30, 33, something like that for
Oh yeah.
I think at least one of those volumes because I needed.
And the same day, I also picked up that awesome Smithsonian Institution collection of comic strip books. Of comic strips. That was another, again, $6, about the same size as the Manning.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Oh my God.
And it's really big too, and it's
oversized. It's like
super thick.
13 by 17 or something.
I told you my story about how I found my copy of that, right? There was a used bookstore over here on Fenton Road that had been there forever. Everything was beat up. All of their comics were beat up. You know, they were selling comics for $1 a piece, and they were all dog-eared and stuff. But I'm looking through them, just looking for stuff, just to see if there's anything of mine or some independent stuff that I want to buy. And they're in 2 big comic racks. Remember the big 3-tier or the 2-tier comic, 3 shelves, 3 shelves, and then the flat space on the bottom. He had 2 of those that were just jammed with comics. So I'm looking, and then between the racks, there's that Smithsonian book.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled that out, and it's obvious nobody had looked at it in at least a decade because this store had been there forever. And I opened up the cover; it was $6. And I took it up to the front counter, and I says, "Is this book $6?" Says it says so here on the inside front cover. And the guy looked at it and says, "Yeah, it's $6." I said, "Cool, it's mine."
Oh man!
Now I bought that book. Now here's the rest of the story. The rest of the story is Paul Harvey would say.
Paul Harvey.
I took that book home within a who? Yes. Sorry, guys. Who? Within a week, within a week of me taking that book home, that place got struck by lightning.
Seriously?
And I'm not lying. The bolt went straight through the store into his basement, into his warehouse, and he had a huge amount of paper in the bottom basement, and it literally blew it out in a big fire, and everything that was in that building was gone. If I had not found that book wedged between that rack that day,
it would have been gone. Oh my!
Would have been gone, and bought it for a song too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to distract us with Copic markers.
No, I'm not trying to track you, but I don't know if you guys got a chance to. If you do, if you use Copic markers, definitely get up to your Hobby Lobby, check, because they are clearancing those puppies out at $2 a marker,
and they're gone.
Yeah,
they have been gone for over.
They're marked $2, aren't they? Wow.
Yeah. None of the Michigan stores have done the clearance yet.
Oh.
Well, they're teasing us. We're in Michigan. What are you talking about?
Well, Lewis went to his store and they were gone.
Yeah, every store in Lexington County. I went to 5 different ones. And they were all out.
Might be worth checking. Then
work its way north. Then, or we're going to get it in a few weeks or month? Or
I have no idea. Yeah,
the idea is to get there. Just keep calling Hobby Lobby. Are they there? Are they there? You selling them?
It could be they just decided that they didn't want to carry them anymore, and they were blowing them out. And
no, they're carrying
particular store.
some of them, but they're replacing them with a different brand that's cheaper by $1 or $1.50 a marker.
I'm a,
And
I would,
they're probably a Hobby Lobby brand they're going to replace them with.
That
I
could be.
don't know. I don't remember the name they said.
Oh,
I'm a brand whore, man. I can't leave Hobby Lobby. I mean, I can't leave Copic.
I can't leave Hobby Lobby. Well, I'm sorry, they're closed on Sundays.
yeah,
You gotta leave sometime.
I bought a Bold Junk waffle
That's
from them.
Baudet junk waffle.
Oh, okay. I had a
From that
junk
50
waffle
cent
once.
50
didn't pay
cent
for
dealer for a 50-cent dealer for $2. Yeah.
And
Good
then
deal.
Tony Days.
Zugina. Oh yeah,
Dezuniga? Yeah.
Niga or something like that.
Hey,
I always called him Dezugna, but
Yeah.
I'm sure
And he's still around doing phenomenal artwork.
y'all gotta be careful with that man's last name.
He was a lousy inker. I don't know why. I all these pencilers complained about him, and I'm like, why? He was a good inker. Yeah, I just don't understand it. But
Well, I mean, he's a very strong inker, but I do know a lot of artists felt a little overwhelmed by it because he's got a very strong. He's a strong penciler as well as an inker. So as an inker, he tends to be very, very dominant over the work.
Yeah. It's like Tom Palmer. Doesn't matter who does the pencils. Tom Palmer inks look like Tom Palmer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Same thing with Terry Austin. Great inker, love his stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all very, very dominant.
It's all in the technique.
Yeah. But yeah, Lewis, you're not too hot on Dezugina?
no, I like him.
Oh, you do? Oh,
I was just saying.
you heard.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's probably one of the Filipino guys that his stuff was very, very obvious over somebody else's work.
Mm.
Very obvious. I remember him inking the story that
I mean, all the Filipino inkers were dominant over whoever they inked. If it was an American artist, I mean,
except that ones like
we're talking about Conan. I mean, whether it's Nestor, whether it's Ernie Chan or Chua, however you want to say his last name, over Buscema, it didn't look a damn thing like Buscema. It was them.
that's true. That's true.
Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time.
But then John was doing mostly breakdowns too. So
Yeah.
By that time, sure.
Because he didn't have to do full pencils on these guys because he knew that they would finish it. So,
The Ask Me Anything app. We got a question, and it says that do any of you guys believe that Bob Kane can actually draw? I've watched videos of him drawing. He doesn't look like he has any type of skill.
Yeah, he wasn't. Bob Kane was not an uber talented guy. He was very crafty and he was very, he was smart in a streetwise kind of way.
not more like a carnival barker kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, he
was there to sell the snake oil and did that incredibly well.
Yeah, but he had guys like Bill Finger who was more than willing to work under him, and he just simply took all the credit for what they were doing. Because you do see some of Kane's actual drawings, and they're nothing to write home about.
There were so many.
Drawing,
and then after that, it was Dick Sprang, and it still carried the Bob Kane tag on it.
Yeah, I know that John didn't like it, Jason. I just Jason Moore says Buscema hated all the inkers from the Philippines, didn't like Ernie Chan at all. He said that in many interviews, and that's true because they overpowered him. They were very dominant over his stuff. I think I think he actually preferred Bob McLeod's inks over him than the any of the.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. Seems said he liked McLeod, and the thing is, I know that John also talked about really disliking Alcala's inking.
Mm-hmm.
Again, overpowering him. Alcala was his Franklin Booth stone etching style.
Yes.
It was just unbelievable. We appreciated it from our end because of the lushness of it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as pure drawing, Buscema just thought he ruined it.
Yeah.
Did you Scott?
Yeah.
Do you ink all your work?
All my commissions I tend to ink. Whenever I do a book for somebody, I try to ink all of it. I try not. I've had bad experience with inkers, and I tend to try and keep control of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh,
I've had
what
some.
do you think of Stegbauer's inks on you?
Who's that?
Stegbauer.
Oh, Mark. Oh, I thought his stuff was good, really good. He helped me ink the first issue of August,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked his inks were very razor sharp. beautifully controlled and everything. The part of the second issue, he got a bit rushed because he had other work that was coming in, and he was doing this as a favor for me.
Mhm.
So that the second issue had parts where it was a little bit not his absolute very best, but he still did a good job.
Is
So
is that a cookie rack behind you?
What's
Is that a baking rack behind you?
that? Yeah, a baker's rack.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought it was.
That's where I have all my stuff. I pull out my tool and everything, and one of them contains cinnamon rolls, but I'm not going to show you that because
Well, we figured that was brownie.
Fresh from the oven.
if I had those, I wouldn't be
I kept telling them while you were away that you were going to get your brownies that you just baked.
Yeah, really.
Jason says, "Go ahead, Scott. You can let everyone know your crappy inker was me. I could take the heat."
Oh, I wouldn't call you crappy. That's too nice. Just kidding. Jason's
I
awesome.
think of who it was that you didn't like. Because there was somebody. Was it when you were on X-Men Adventures?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Who was it? The inker in X-Men was Conrad. Kevin Conrad
Yeah.
was the inker, and he had a studio of guys. Some of his stuff was okay, but some of it would just butchered what I put down.
But he was trying to. Weren't they trying to make it look imagey?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They told me to just draw it normal, classic Marvel superhero style.
Mhm.
I sent it in, and then they ended up doing this god awful hack job, Rob Liefeld a la. Oh, it was terrible. Oh my God. I can show you an example of my pencil on one panel and then the inking on it, and they just destroyed it. Just
Well, at least
They hacked the heck out of it. They cross-hatched too much.
at least you have that.
Oh.
I'll tell you guys a quick story. I once let a gentleman take my artwork home and ink it, and
was it for a job or just for the
it was for a job. And when I got the artwork back, I shed actual tears. It's funny now thinking back about it, but
Did
I
you
remember
know his inking before you let him do yours?
Yeah, I mean, his inking was competent, and then it was just bad. He blamed me after. Actually, he said that my pencils weren't that tight.
Right.
And I'm like, what? My pencils.
It wasn't me, but I can definitely associate with your woes. Yes,
But I mean,
we've all had bad inking stories at one time.
Oh, yeah.
my mother laughs about it because she was like, "You actually cried." You were sitting there on the sofa crying. And she said, I looked at her and I said, why would anybody do this?
Oh,
Right.
I hear you.
That's how bad it was. Like,
Wow.
it was really
What
bad.
did you do?
Oh gosh, man.
It's like, hold on a second. I'm going to ink your. I'm going to ink this for you. Look at the bottle.
Well, what we talked about, I think I asked Randy one time before. If you don't know how to use a brush, just don't use a brush.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of these guys are dedicated to ink brushing.
Or brush inking.
Brushing. Yeah, they use techniques they haven't really even tried to master, like the toothbrush thing with the white out.
Yeah,
to figure out how to do.
Some guys just overdo it.
Yes, that's true. They overdo it.
Yeah, like they yeet it on the paper.
You really don't yak on the paper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like in my instance, I didn't even attempt to ink my own stuff or anything with a brush until I practiced with it like for at least 3 years. Because I knew, I mean, if I wanted to get anything close to what I could see in a regular comic, I just realized how fucking hard it was, and I wasn't gonna murder anybody's stuff or even my own until I knew exactly what I was doing. And I mean, I would go to shows and I'd have other guys critique it and give me techniques and show me, then I'd practice it. Oh yeah, and the worst thing it is that anybody can do is pick up a tool or a technique without practicing it first and using it. And some people are just way too impatient to master the technique before they use it. They're just so excited to get going on it. And my God, I mean, I've got reams and reams of practice that looks like crap until I learn how to use that. And that's one of the worst things. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, probably one of the worst inking jobs was when I did Solar for Valiant. And the first issue I did was inked by a guy. I never knew his name. I don't remember it. Apparently, he had brain cancer.
Mm.
And Bob Linton, at the time, said that he gave the guy the job because he needed the money. And he gave him my pencil because they were tight enough and clean enough to where he figured you almost can't screw it up because just follow the lines and it'll be fine. Did it. He did it with a Bic ballpoint pen.
Holy crap.
Oh, my God. It was just the worst. He made my stuff look like shit. It was terrible. Luckily, they made it up to me because the next issue, they had Ricardo Villapon. One of those Filipino guys. And that looked great. I love that. But that first issue just looked like hell. Oh, my God. And I thought, gave it to a guy with brain cancer? Really? I'm getting brain cancer for what you did to myself.
The AMA says, Randy, you said that I don't know if you actually said this, Randy, but you said that Jim Lee was the worst thing that happened in comics in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm sure I've given that opinion.
Okay. Who was the worst thing to happen to comics in the 80s, in the 70s, and so forth?
I say that because everybody followed their Jim Lee style, and after that,
was actually
every time you looked at a book, it all looked like Jim Lee. You know,
you gotta remember, Jim Lee was really an '80s artist. He was a late '80s artist. So you really can't say he was the worst of the '90s. He was
growing up, I had a severe dislike of Don Heck, really bad. I still have a deep, deep dislike for anything that Vinnie Coletta inks, because it's such a shame, because if you ever see the pencils compared to what the end result was, it's night and day. So I got essentials here of Thor that Kirby penciled that Vinnie went over and inked, and it at one point it did just make me cry.
Yeah.
To see it, to think that here Kirby was pouring his heart and soul into it, and Vinnie was grabbing a crow quill and being the scratchiest SOB he could on it. And there's oil and vinegar people, but there's nobody that really stands out. And the reason I said Jim Lee was the worst thing to happen was because everybody had to copy him.
Right.
All the editors, and it wasn't the artist's fault. The editors were probably using him as a showcase and telling everybody that they needed to draw like this guy.
Oh yeah, they're trying to cash it on the Jim Lee cow, you know. Yeah. Cash cow.
There's a classic story about when Keith Giffen broke into the business, and he was drawing fill-in issues. Did a fill-in issue of Killraven, and did a couple of issues of Defenders right in the 50s, and the art director at Marvel at the time, whose name escapes me, told him that he needed to draw more like Jack Kirby. So he sat down and drew just like Jack Kirby, and turned it in and inked and all that. And he was really happy with his stuff, and was in the offices one day and happened to show it to John Romita. And Romita looked at his stuff and says, you're okay, kid, but you draw way too much like Jack Kirby.
That's pretty typical of the cross.
You need to stop that.
Yeah, the mixed signals that you're getting there.
Yeah.
I like what Paul Schultz says here. Somebody else he knows did stuff on copy paper. Wow.
Yeah, the one and only book I had published where someone else inked it. The guy printed up my pencils and inked it on copy paper with ballpoint pens. Yeah.
I agree, Paul. That is a nightmare.
That is a nightmare.
Anybody ink with ballpoint pen. Unless they don't know what they're doing. I mean,
they don't know what they're doing.
Before I was professional, I had a mine who did it by ballpoint once, and I said, "No, that's not how you do this." And I showed him the tools. He's like, "Oh, that's what you wanted me to use." Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, ballpoint pens are a ready-made source, cheap. They never run out of ink, and the only time you should do that is if you follow Frank Cho's example, where he did this beautiful book of drawings.
Oh, well, you can
use like the best quality ballpoint pens, and he practices the hell out of it before he puts the stroke down.
Right. If you know your tool, if you're master your tool, you do beautiful work.
Yeah, but you just can't use it, willy nilly on the fly.
Yeah. But what Frank's doing is not inking. That's crosshatch illustration.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Using an ink tool to do it, right?
Yeah.
And now, what Varian said earlier, in terms of the worst thing to happen to the 80s and 70s, for me, the worst thing that happened to the 80s was two fronts. Faster and Larson with Ninja Turtles, and
That's not Faster and
I
Larson.
mean, Eastman and Laird.
Eastman and Larry.
sorry, Faster and Larson is those airbrush guys.
Yes.
Yeah, it was those guys with the turtles, though I give them all the kudos for the success of it. I don't take away from that. But that did start a huge wave of people wanting to do that kind of scratchy, blocky stuff, you know.
No, not so much they wanted to find a way to get their success. They not so much copy them.
Well, that's true. But, you know, part of it was saying, okay, let's copy the style, let's copy the content, let's copy all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it started, I think, a pretty bad wave of that stuff.
Yeah.
The other bad thing, I think, was Frank Miller's Dark Knight. As much as that was a really turnaround content book, it started Miller on this terrible wave of this self-indulgent. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't discount the sales. It was an amazing collection.
You're not wrong. That was
Yeah. Because Miller stuff before that, like the Ronin stuff he did, that was genius. And of course, his Daredevil stuff before that was really good.
I keep meaning to dig Ronin back up and read it.
Oh, that was really something with Ronin.
So I remember it really fondly. Yeah.
But with
I think there was a number of titles that DC did back during that period, of which Watchmen and V were the pinnacle. But Killing Joke and Dark Knight Returns were really the ones that everybody decided that they had to go through and copy.
Oh yeah, and they
even though it didn't make a mark, I thought Kingdom was a complete waste of time.
Oh yeah,
It's just a genuine embarrassing mess.
And the thing is, Miller
It never been printed.
Miller and Moore took the comics up to the precipice, and everybody else pushed it over the edge, and that was unfortunate.
It's not that, but I think that they Moore especially knew what he was doing. And did it incredibly well. Miller, like you said, was very self-indulgent, and it just encouraged everybody else to be, quote, realistic and self-indulgent. And so you end up with these nasty, horrible, tastes of realism and just embarrassing events that should have never happened.
Yeah,
300 is different though, Dave, because it's an independent property that Miller did. So he's got the chance there to be on his own. Sin City is the same way, even though that is, and he's admitted that it's self-indulgent, basic milkshake work. It's pretty much that he just called it complete masturbation. Is how he labeled.
Variant's trying to show us something.
Oh no! I was just putting up.
This is earlier.
This is the Brian Lau Staunch Ambition print I was telling you guys about.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
Yeah. I said the print, the picture he shows online doesn't do anything for the print. However, I'll show you this. Show you guys this. This is my book, and keep in mind I was rushing. Well, I wasn't really rushing, but I was not the artist I am today. And some of it's not bad, but there are things in the book that got inked.
If my friend Anthony that I just had dinner with could show you the stuff I had from my APA days, you'd laugh.
From your what days? Your APA day? Oh, the fanzine days.
Yes, fanzines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I fell in with a group of guys very early on who were like, "Hey, Sharpies for large black areas," which I guess is fine, but I mean, depends. But here's one of my books that got inked. I never released this actually. I decided to redo the whole entire book. That's a house I drew, and that's the way it was inked.
In front of a huge bush or in back of a huge bush.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like a bush.
It's the Blob.
Yeah.
And Steve McQueen is just around the corner.
He's absorbing the house.
I assume it might have looked a little better when color got put on it, but
well, keep the dream alive.
And then I had to go back in there and do some whiteout work on his face. I tried to fix it because there was
how old were you when you did that?
22, 23.
22? Well, I'll tell you, that's not too bad for that age, considering I can show you work when I was 21, 22 that not much better.
So these are actually pay stubs, guys, because behind here It's me fixing it. This is me repairing it. The paste up. This page I'm going to show you. Keep in mind, this was the page. This
That's
is the
what you went with, yeah.
That's the one I went with, and I actually used it. Like it would have looked the same underneath here.
Show us the-
Had the inker. Guys, ready for this?
Yeah. Go ahead. Whoa,
Oh,
whoa! Fell into an ink blot.
Yeah.
We all got those. We all got those, Varian. Don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Whoa.
Okay.
weehaw.
She's got a mustache.
Are her eyes closed?
yeah. They closed their eyes. I had her eyes open, but
They closed her eyes and gave her a mustache.
yeah, that one didn't come out too bad. But I just changed the angle.
Yeah.
But I mean, the entire.
All the various things, yeah.
Yeah, the entire book, and also I got told to do this whole like black out your borders things. I don't know if you guys noticed that was a big.
Is that recent or that was back then?
This is back then.
Oh, okay.
Black out your borders. I didn't ink this page actually. Someone else inked this for me. I can't recall, but I had
She
three
looks
different inkers. She was what?
horny.
Oh, because she has horns. Yeah, she was screwing. She was a demon.
Okay, as long as they're showing older stuff. When Lewis said the stuff from the APA days,
Mhm.
now I just happen to have it sitting over here. I've forgotten I had it. I've been there for quite a while. Here is one of my first independent small press books that I did with friends of mine.
Mhm.
It's a sword and sorcery little self-published comic, 8.5 by 11, folded in half. That's my pencil and inking on the cover. You see chaos and order both forming with their bands of energy, the heroes of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now that was my first attempt at a logo for a book. This is the inside. I did the layout on the index page.
Did you draw that figure on the inside front cover?
Oh no, that was another friend of mine. That was his. And then somebody else did the interior, this little spot logo. Now, this has got comics by some of his buddies I was with. That was, classic marker felt stuff. Little map of the world, kind of a little Tolkien-esque, version of the U.S. And then here's my first story. Feast of Blade. Listen, this isn't the first one. This was the first one in this particular thing.
Mhm.
Now, this is where I penciled it, and the buddy that did the inside illustration inked it with a marker, and blew up all my pencils, and trying to pull a little bit of Neil Adams here with this figure. Trying to do a little bit of that, but anyway, that was. And it had another story, and it had some text in it, kind of articles and stuff. Anyway,
Errantry?
Errantry is the name, yeah, which means go on a noble quest or something like that.
Mhm.
So, one of my very
Running an errand for milk to the store. That's what-
copyrighted 1980. So.
Cool.
I wasn't here yet.
Well, all those ghosts.
Can everybody see the cameo that I had in this one?
Cameo?
Yeah, it's a cameo.
It's a voodoo doll.
Kind of would have got me sued.
Is cameo
of a character from pop culture at the time.
The guy in the background.
Yep,
Well, I can't tell who it is.
it's Dr. House.
with the cane and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He's even throwing his Vicodin in the air. See,
You wouldn't have gotten sued for that, buddy.
Yeah, I think you're safe.
yeah.
Fair use parody.
You're safe.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that I just put Dr.
Well, I was
House
like-
in the
Is that the Joker in the background?
background. No, I know an artist who did that though. He likes to put Harley Quinn and a couple other characters and stuff all in his comics. And when I called him out on it, he blocked me. Yeah,
What you were?
I was hating.
Oh,
There was a backup story in Thor Annual number 10, where Jason Moore and I are actually copywritten characters to Marvel.
Oh, and where?
Thor Annual 10.
No kidding.
Yeah, drawn by Kirk Jarvinen.
Oh, excellent.
He put us in there.
Now I'm gonna have to go get that.
Yeah.
Sign
A long
your
time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
That's pretty cool, though.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I drew you in the background. Hope you don't mind. Yeah.
What do I care?
Well, guys, we better end this broadcast for everybody fall asleep on us. Thank you for watching us.
That's because you pulled out your pillow.
Yeah. Bad influence.
Oh, you weren't
Old men.
you weren't here, Randy. Earlier, I had the pillow like this. Then
And he put the blanket over himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my superhero blankie.
It was just-
Yeah.
Well, Lewis and I are trying our level best to be entertaining, and he just blows us all to hell.
They got your GI Joe sleeping bag. You've got shrink wrapped sitting in the attic.
Randy, they got to talking about old guys and
Loving power.
and sharpening stuff, sharpening pencils, and they were talking about the whole. I started smelling newsprint
Edgar,
and
to have us. You ought to be thankful.
That wonderful smell of newsprint.
They started talking about the direct editions and direct markets and little Spider-Man symbols in the corner and market share and
then we met Lou Fine, and then we met.
by the time they got to Bill Gaines, I was out. I was fluffing my pillow, and I knew the Comics Code Authority was next, so I just
You were ready to go, huh?
yeah.
And if you mentioned Frederick Wortham, I'm walking.
Enough for this baloney.
All right, guys. I forgot about that. Jason Moore says you forgot about that. I'm guessing you being in the door book. I gotta check that out so I can
Oh yeah.
laugh at you guys. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. We're gonna end this broadcast. Everybody, we will not be here Tuesday. We will be back Thursday morning at 9 a.m. for the Indie Vote Breakfast Buzz.
I will not be here. I'll be heading my way down to Cincinnati Comic Con.
So early. Why are you getting in town so early? I got to be in Indiana on Saturday, and I'm not leaving till Saturday morning.
Before the border guards throw up the gates against me, so I got to sneak in.
Okay, all right.
Standing order against most states.
Then after that, the next week after that, I got to go to SuperCon.
Sue, that's Sue per
Yeah.
con.
And that's going to be where?
In Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Wire. Spelled SOIUX. Sue.
IOUX.
Yeah.
What brings you over there? An invitation, or you just decided to go for the fun of it?
Invitation. And
Invitation? Somebody's actually asking you to be there?
well, no, a buddy of mine asked me to come.
Oh.
So but I got a table, so I will be there. And yeah, so that's 13-hour drive actually. I checked today. 13-hour drive.
So basically, for the next few weeks, you're going to be too tired to do this show.
Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna come back. You guys will see me like this.
As he really falls
What
asleep.
you ought to do is just tell Caden he doesn't have to go to school and let Caden host next week.
Yeah, exactly, Randy. That's it.
There you go.
I'll just go. I'll do the I'll
He'll
get back.
probably do a better job than you anyway.
Probably will. He probably will. He,
Start a pool and see when Varian actually falls asleep when he gets back.
There we go.
I'm gonna. You guys know I'm completely like sleepy and drained.
We'll just all pull out our impressive old print books and see, which old artist actually, makes him doze off.
Let's see. I should bring Al Williamson, Mark Schultz, Buscema. Who else?
Buscema, you can. I'll.
Colin and Steve Ditko.
Okay. Who else?
Randy, you bring out some of your old stock. We'll see if we can.
I'm
I'm
gonna.
40 minutes in.
I'll bring out my Fantastic Worlds of Science Fiction number 3 and introduce everybody to Alex Dino.
I would.
Tales.
I would say.
cried the TikTok man. Just clap.
if you guys really want to put me to sleep,
You guys are about to argue.
if you guys really want to put me to sleep,
One.
if you guys really want to see me go to sleep, bring out some George Perez.
Oh, George.
I'm just kidding.
He's awesome.
Please sleep. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's bring up some Michael Turner.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh no, that'll wake him right up.
Yeah,
Please sleep.
I can talk about Michael Turner.
yeah.
Somebody after 1990. I can't believe it. They're talking about modern.
Something modern when the books became readable. When the books came, you can hold them in your hand and because with this was things you guys had, you couldn't fold them in your back pocket.
Oh,
I seen they were huge. They were magazine size. You have to stuff them down your pants to steal them. Maybe that's what it means.
we couldn't fold those comics when we were much younger. They were made on granite slabs.
There you go. Backed by real paper.
That's right.
Before you had to have a backing
And,
board.
and, and when they went to newsprint, that's why everybody thought everybody who read comics was nerds because we didn't have the granite slabs to show that we could lift this heavy weight and smack them upside the head.
They were 56 pages back then too. Damn it!
I'm surprised you guys made it. I mean, seeing as though that think about it. Your comics are made out of newsprint paper. Could have cut you at any moment. You had to walk 10 miles to school. Your clothes are made out of asbestos.
We're lucky to have out a lot. All of our walls were made out of lead.
Stuff than your generation.
I used to ride my bike without a helmet.
You had a bike? I used to have to.
I had a spider bike.
I had to
I was gonna say you had a no helmet and no seat, right?
No helmet. No banana seat.
I had to hitch the garbage can lid to a bunch of dogs. Bring me around town.
Oh my God!
I walked 2 miles back and forth to school every day.
Well,
I was closed.
And I'm not exaggerating. It was 2 country miles. But I used to stop off at the drugstore and get all the comics. So,
well,
I had to just sit and listen to Aristotle.
I knew who Harvey was. How do you like that?
Yeah,
that's really fair.
After hearing all that, I really do feel bad for you guys because I never walked to school a day in my life.
You never went to school.
Yeah, I walked. Never walked to school.
Never had to deal with these, did you?
Comics Venom Racks? No, they had one. They had one at the comic book store. But yeah, they had one of those. Yeah.
I knew where one was within a 25-mile radius of my house. I knew where one was.
And you always knew you had a good rack because he would squeal as you spun it.
That's what this does.
Oh,
I remember I think I told the story before, but the corner store on the corner from my house, it closed down, and I got off the bus and I seen the rack sitting. The store had closed, and the rack was sitting in the parking lot amongst some other junk.
Thrown the rack out?
Oh yeah,
yeah. And I said, "Oh, I'm gonna put my book bag up and run back because the store was like 2 minutes from my house. Put my book bag up and run back over and pick it up." I did just that. By the time I got back, the rack was gone.
Oh, so
yeah, I should have just picked it up then and carried it. Maybe it's a light rack, I'm guessing.
Oh,
Bro, I don't know. I think it was made out of metal. It might not have been that. It might not have been that light.
Randy, where did you get the rack from?
I bought it from Rick Sandman. He had it.
That's the same store that blew up.
Huh?
That's the same store that blew up.
Same store that blew up. No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, not that. It would have been all Rick, Hawaiian shirt Rick.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick. Oh, yeah. Everything goes through Rick, he says.
Yeah. I had it sitting in my garage for a couple years, but I had to pull it up.
I love those. Don't ever get rid of the squeal.
No, not even that. I'll never get rid of the rack. I'll never repaint it either. It's got to have the original rusty patina on it. So.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Speaking of rusty racks,
rusty patina.
Yeah, it's not rusty racks. Lola will be back with us.
Character. I've got the trademark on that. Rusty patina.
Rusty rack. All right. They're apparently Marion wants to permanently move into the garage with a couch. There you go. We'll see where he broadcasts from next. I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for seeing. We'll see you later.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back here Thursday morning, and then of course next Tuesday we'll return to our regular time.
I will be here on Thursday. I'm jumping dimensions. It'll be good. I'll be back the following Tuesday.
Yeah. We're gonna be
I have a date with Haley Atwell. I'm not gonna miss. I'm not gonna miss it.
No.
Here we go.
All right, you guys, take care.
See ya.
I will see all you guys very soon. The only thing we wouldn't do, they give you a lot of room.